Chapter 52:45. Hunley was much stronger than the saint of all beginnings. He laughed. Kid, you're too arrogant. Do you think you can compete with me just because you defeated the saint? He's not even half as strong as me. Today, I'll let you know the power of the Primal Chaos Clan. He raised his palm and punched out. Primal Chaos Divine Fist. This punch was extremely terrifying. The aura of primal chaos surrounded it as if it could pierce through the world. At this moment, the surrounding people were terrified. They felt as if their bodies were about to be destroyed. What kind of fist technique was this? No one could resist it. Even Peacock gasped. Beside her, Yun Yu's eyes were also shining. She didn't expect the Primal Chaos Clan to have such a person. Lin Xian was also surprised, as expected of the Primal Chaos Clan. But so what? I've said it before. If you want to be my opponent, let Hunley do it himself. You're not enough. He clenched his fist and punched out the Six Paths fist. The phantoms of the six worlds surrounded him, suppressing everything and pressing forward. He dares to fight back? Does he know what kind of existence he's facing? It's over. I think this guy is dead for sure. Seeing Lin Xian still attacking, the surrounding people shook their heads and sneered. They seemed to be able to see Lin Xian's end. Boom. The two fists collided, shaking the world. However, the result was shocking. The Six Paths fist directly shattered the Primal Chaos fist. One of Soul Power's arms suddenly split open and turned into a bloody mist. He screamed and retreated. In the next moment, he was suppressed by the six worlds. The surrounding spectators widened their eyes in disbelief. That was Soul Power. It was much more terrifying than the saint of all beginnings. That punch was enough to destroy the world. But now, it was directly shattered by someone. He was seriously injured and even suppressed. This guy is too strong. Is he really an emperor? At least he has this kind of strength. Several people exclaimed. Damn it. Hunley was also terrified. When did the temple have such an expert? Could it be? He thought of a possibility. That is the temple master of the temple. Is it really him? He wanted to shout, but he couldn't. The six worlds made him like an ant. He could only crawl. Yuan Jueshi, who was next to him, knelt on the ground. Had he dared to clamor with such a person before? It was already a miracle that he was still alive. The others were also shocked. They were all trying to guess who this person was. There was a mysterious figure in the crowd. He was wearing a Taoist robe. He looked ahead and sucked in a breath of cold air. Could it be him? If it was really him, then perhaps everything could be explained. The laws on this person's body were abnormally deep and terrifying. He was from the Daoi Holy Land. Eldest senior brother. Who is he? The others from the Daowon Holy Ground were also confused. Who was it that could make their eldest senior brother so shocked? Was he an imperial prince? First senior brother shook his head. No, he wasn't the imperial prince, but he was even more terrifying than the imperial prince. Hearing this, the people from the Daowon Holy Ground were stunned. Then, they thought of someone. Was it him? Lin Wudi. There were two people who were even more terrifying than the Crown Prince. One of them was the Double Crown King, Hun Tian. However, it couldn't be him. There was only one other person left, and that was Lin Wudi. He was someone who had killed the Dragon Prince. Such a person was too terrifying. Moreover, they had heard all kinds of legends about Lin Wudi. Previously, they found it unbelievable. However, the incident at Nebula Palace happened right beside them. He was the only person who had made it onto the Supreme Leaderboard. Even Hun Tian hadn't made it onto the leaderboard. How terrifying would such a person be? No wonder their eldest senior brother was so shocked. However, there were also people who said that no matter how strong Lin Wudi was, could he fight against Hun Tian? That was the Double Crown King. Indeed, everyone was worried. The eldest senior brother of the Daowon Holy Ground smirked. I don't know who is stronger between the two of them. Perhaps the Double Crown King is stronger, but that might not be the case now. According to the information I received, the body walking outside is a clone of Hun Tian. It's not his main body at all. This clone strength is only at the Imperial Prince level. It's impossible for him to suppress Lin Wudi. Unless his main body comes personally, there will be a good show to watch this time. This eldest senior brother was very powerful. The Tao One holy ground also had an extraordinary background. After the recovery of the world, their great path laws were even more terrifying. The eldest senior brother was confident that he could defeat everything. However, facing Lin Wuti, he was terrified and didn't dare to fight against him. The surrounding junior brothers were also shocked when they heard this. They didn't know what would happen next. The news of Lin Wuti's soul power being suppressed spread again. When the people in the main hall heard about it, they were stunned. The experts of the holy ground couldn't believe it. Even Lin Wuti's soul power had been defeated? The people of the Hun Tian clan also narrowed their eyes. They knew the strength of Lin Wuti's soul power. To be able to defeat Lin Wuti's soul power was probably beyond their imagination. After hearing this, Hun Tian stood up. Extremely terrifying killing intent burst out from his eyes. Who was it? Was this a slap to his face? Beside him, Long Wu also frowned slightly. She said that Lin Wuti's soul power was very strong. To be able to defeat him so easily, it was at least the Imperial Prince-level powerhouse. A young powerhouse? Hun Tian snorted coldly. His eyes were filled with killing intent. So what? I want to see who dares to challenge me. He strode forward. Long Wu rose into the air and followed. The other holy emperors also followed one after another. Jin Shao roared. Whoever dared to offend His Highness Hun Tian was dead meat no matter who it was. This group of people completely alarmed the outside world. One had to know that those who could enter the main hall were all top-notch experts. Behind them stood the sects of the holy ground. They were unparalleled. Once they made a move, the entire world would be in an uproar. When these people came out, they were also shocked. It was one thing to hear about it, but when they saw with their own eyes that Lin Wuti's soul power had been suppressed, their vision turned black. Someone really dared to make a move. Who was it? They all looked over. In the next moment, they saw Peacock standing there with a cold expression. The others retreated far away. It was her, someone from the temple. They didn't expect it to be the temple. These people were shocked and quickly told Hun Tian. After hearing this, Hun Tian's eyes burst with a cold light. The temple? Previously, someone seemed to have warned him that the temple might resist. He just didn't expect it to come so quickly. However, so what if it was the temple? No one could stop him from doing what he wanted to do. With a cold snort, he took a step forward and the power in his body swept out. At this moment, everyone kept retreating. Some people spat out blood. They couldn't resist at all. Even Peacock's face was pale and her blood was boiling. She couldn't bear it at all. Seeing this scene, Hun Tian sneered. A puny temple dares to go against me? Kneel down and accept your death. A cold voice sounded. Peacock's body swayed. It was as if she was facing a god and couldn't resist this power at all. She was about to die. Chapter 52:46. Peacock couldn't resist the terrifying power of heaven and earth. She couldn't help it. No matter how strong she was nothing compared to the double-crowned king. Just as she was about to kneel, a voice rang out. How dare you touch my people? You must be tired of living. The voice wasn't loud, but it carried a sharp aura. As soon as it appeared, it cut through the power of heaven and earth. Peacock felt her body relax, and the pressure disappeared. She breathed a sigh of relief and smiled at the same time. She knew that Lin Xian had made a move. Hun Tian frowned when he heard the voice. He turned around and stopped looking at Peacock. Instead, he looked at the black-robed man next to her. His gaze seemed to have turned into a divine sword, causing hundreds of cracks to appear around him. Who are you? He shouted coldly. Why? Don't you recognize me? Lin Xian took off his cloak, revealing his real face. Hun Tian frowned. It's you, Lin Wuti. He guessed that the only person who dared to challenge him and help the temple was the temple lord, Lin Wuti. It seemed that it was true. The people around exclaimed when they heard it. What? Lin Wuti? He's Lin Wuti? Countless people were shocked. They all looked forward. Lin Wuti's name was like thunder to their ears. He was someone who made it onto the Supreme list. Previously, he was even more famous. He was a top genius who swept through everything. Moreover, it was rumored that he was the Temple Lord. They didn't believe it before, but now it seemed that it was true. No wonder the temple dared to challenge him. It turned out that there was such a terrifying prime behind them. He was Lin Wudi. Jian Shao was so scared that his scalp went numb and he almost fainted. Previously, when he challenged the other party, it was as if he had walked one round around the gates of hell. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but step back, hoping that he wouldn't be discovered. Hun Tian shouted coldly, "Lin Wudi, are you challenging me? Is the divine hall going against me?" Murderous intent burst out from his eyes. So what if it was Lin Wudi? He didn't care about killing Xiang Fei, but the fact that he dared to suppress his soul power was a slap to his face. It was a slap to the chaotic clan's face. He couldn't stand it. More importantly, both he and his opponent were top-notch experts. Sooner or later, they would have to fight in the future. Now that he could kill Lin Wudi, he wouldn't be polite. "Your Highness, save me. The saint of all beginnings." Soul Force gritted his teeth. "Kill him and avenge me. Your Highness, please help me." Everyone was shocked. With a wave of his hand, the power of the purest yang erupted and shot towards Soul Force and the saint of all beginnings. Two's blood. Dead. One of them was an expert from the Hundun clan. It was as if he could destroy heaven and earth with a single word. "Come, I'll allow the two of you to fight together." The great destruction spear appeared in Lin Xian's hand, as if he was going to sweep through everything. At this moment, Long Wu was also facing a great enemy. Was this the person who killed the Dragon Prince? The young man who made the 10,000 Dragon Court feel despair? He was indeed strong. Hun Tian was so angry that his face turned green. He was calculating the chances of winning if the two of them worked together. However, Lin Xian said, "The quintessential world didn't need to be controlled by others. Even if it was, it couldn't be controlled by outsiders. Are you all going to stand on the side of the chaotic tribe? Are you all going to be enemies with the sacred hall?" Lin Xian's gaze swept across all directions. At this moment, his eyes were also filled with a biting cold killing intent. The sky fell, and the earth cracked. The powerhouses of the surrounding sacred grounds felt their scalps go numb. At this moment, they were terrified. They hadn't expected that between the two of them, it would still be them. This was a dilemma. If they walked over and joined forces with the Divine Union, they would offend Hun Tian. They wouldn't have a good ending. However, if they stood on Hun Tian's side now, Lin Xian would probably kill them immediately. After all, even the monarch races didn't dare to provoke him, let alone the sacred grounds. In an instant, these people were on the verge of tears. Chapter 52:47. But soon, there were people who submitted. They looked at Lin Xian and said, "We are willing to follow Deity's Hall." Previously, Hun Tian was high and mighty, wanting to control the true spirit world. Not all of these holy lands were willing to do so. Therefore, when they saw the opportunity, they immediately stood out. As the first sacred ground stood out. Following that, a few other sacred grounds quickly stepped forward to join in. "We are willing to advance and retreat with Deity's Hall. Greetings, Lin Gongzi." Lin Gongzi is mighty. More and more people leaned toward Lin Xian. This scene stunned the people of the primal chaos race. The expressions of the sacred grounds on the side of the primal chaos race changed drastically. They finally didn't dare to resist. Who wanted to die? Therefore, they could only quickly walk over. "Greetings, Lin Gongzi." Lin Gongzi is magnanimous. "Please don't blame us." Yuan Zhu and Jian Shao knelt on the ground and kept apologizing. "Lin Gongzi, please spare our lives." This scene was very shocking. Hun Tian's expression became incomparably ugly. Was he defeated by the other party? Damn it. In fact, he didn't know that although he was the double champion, Lin Xian's name was much more famous than his. Moreover, he had been famous for a long time. Lin Xian had killed the Dragon Prince, fought against the 10,000 Dragon Court, and fought against the 10,000 Dragon Court. He even escaped and survived under the attack of an extreme weapon and counterattacked. All kinds of deeds spread throughout the universe, shocking countless people. In the hearts of everyone, he was already a godlike existence. Now that such a person had spoken, who else dared to resist? More importantly, Hun Tian only sent a clone. He couldn't defeat Lin Xian at all. If they didn't submit, Lin Xian could immediately send them to hell. Therefore, after weighing the pros and cons, they all submitted to Lin Xian. At this moment, only 3 forces stood on Hun Tian's side. Apart from the primal chaos race, there was the all-beginning sacred land and the 10,000 dragon court. Everyone's expression was incomparably ugly. What? Not convinced? I'll give you a chance to challenge me. Lin Xian pointed his sword forward. The others were in an uproar. Were they really going to fight? Even the faces of the Hundun tribe changed. Hun Tian remained silent. His eyes grew colder and colder. Lin Xian laughed. You don't dare? If you don't dare, kneel down and kowtow to apologize. I can spare your life. You're courting death. Hun Tian was so angry that he trembled, and a terrifying radiance burst out from his eyes. Even if I'm just a clone, I can still defeat you. He roared at the sky, and the aura of chaos on his body condensed into the sword of chaos. It transformed into a divine sword and slashed down from the sky. Countless people were shaken and quickly retreated. Even though it was just a clone, it was still a young tycoon. With the strength of an imperial prince, this sword strike was unparalleled. Lin Xian looked at this sword and laughed loudly. I won't bully you. I'll fight you with one hand. Naturally, Lin Xian wouldn't go all out against his opponent's clone. One of his hands was behind his back, while the other hand reached forward to grab something. His 5 fingers seemed to have transformed into 5 divine swords that swept in all directions. An earth-shattering sound was heard. The two collided with a sonorous sound. The surrounding people were shocked. Lin Wudi was too powerful. He actually let his opponent use one hand. Could he win? The people of the Hundun tribe gritted their teeth. Damn it, he's too arrogant. Let's see how His Highness will kill him. The sword of chaos split heaven and earth. With an angry roar, the sword slashed out with the power to split heaven and earth. At this moment, the entire sky shook violently, and countless large cracks appeared. Countless people were so scared that their scalps went numb. What kind of sword was this? It was too terrifying. Lin Xian shouted coldly. You want to compete in sword techniques? I'll grant you your wish. Lin Xian waved his arm, and 2 rays of black and white light condensed on it. Then, they turned into a sword light and slashed down. It was an arc-shaped sword light. As soon as it appeared, it seemed to carry hope and destruction. This sword strike stunned everyone. They could feel a terrifying great Tao circling around them. What a terrifying sword. Buzz. Clang. The sword light flashed, and there was a thunder-like sound in the air. The sword of chaos was sent flying, and there was another sword light on Hun Tian's body that pierced through his body. Whoosh. There was no blood dripping because it was just a clone. However, it was even more terrifying. The clone's body was blurry, as if it was about to disappear. Countless people were terrified. Is he injured? He injured Hun Tian with one sword. How terrifying. Even Long Wu's pupils constricted. She realized that if she were to face this sword, it would be difficult for her to block it. Unless she took out her trump card, but then she would have lost. After all, Lin Wudi didn't even use a weapon. This was impossible. The people of the Hundun tribe roared crazily. They couldn't accept it. The people of the myriad races' holy land were also stunned. This made them feel terrified. Hun Tian's aura weakened. He gritted his teeth and asked, What sword technique is this? This is a sword technique that I created after comprehending life and death. It's called Origin Restoration. Lin Xian said coldly. Self-created sword technique? Hun Tian's pupils constricted. The sword technique that Lin Xian created is actually so terrifying? Long Wu and the others were also shocked. They originally thought that this was a legendary technique of the great emperor, but who would have thought that it wasn't? Has he grown to the point where he can create a peerless sword technique? This person is too terrifying. Lin Wudi, you are worthy of my full strength. When my main body arrives, we will have a true battle. Hun Tian's cold voice sounded. He turned around and left with his people. Lin Xian sneered. You want to leave? Do you think that one sword is enough? Stay. Since Lin Xian treated him as an enemy, how could he let him go? Another sword slash was made. This sword was even more terrifying. The laws of yin and yang danced, and the Taiji diagram appeared, turning into the god of yin and yang. One was extremely powerful, sweeping everything away. The other was cold, turning into the god of death, destroying everything. As soon as the two of them attacked, they pounced towards Hun Tian. Hun Tian roared, "You are courting death, light of chaos." With a roar, a shocking light flickered in his eyes. Then, he tore through the void. These two rays of light were too terrifying. It was as if they had turned into eternity. When they hit the yin-yang god, they also let out an earth-shaking sound. "Hurry up and attack together," he roared at Long Wu. However, Long Wu turned around and left with the people of the nest of 10,000 dragons. "Damn it! How dare you leave me?" Hun Tian almost vomited blood. "This is too unreliable. Your Highness, let us help you." The powerhouses of the Hun Tian clan and the other clans shouted angrily. They wanted to attack, but the yin-yang god fused into the Sword of Unity and slashed over again. This sword not only contained the power of yin and yang, but also the power of the great dragon sword soul. It was indestructible and incomparably sharp. In the blink of an eye, Hun Tian's body was split into two halves. Under this sharp aura, his broken body couldn't recover at all. Destroy. The yin-yang image rotated and destroyed his broken body, turning it into endless chaotic aura that floated in the void. Was he destroyed? The surrounding people were dumbfounded when they saw this scene. Chapter 52:48. Everyone was dumbfounded by the scene before them. They had never imagined that Lin Xian would dare to kill Lin Xian. The All Beginnings Holy Lands people were dumbfounded. The Primal Chaos Race's experts roared crazily. "Damn it! You actually dared to attack?" Lin Xian sneered. "Why wouldn't I dare? It's just a clone. Even if his main body was here, I would still kill him." The Primal Chaos Race's people were furious. They looked at Lin Xian, their expressions constantly changing. In the end, they didn't dare to attack. Had their plan been destroyed? In the distant palace above the clouds, the people from the pure, cleansing, immortal platform were similarly shocked. Was this Lin Wudi? He was truly too powerful. Qing Tan sighed. They had originally thought that Hun Tian's plan was perfect. But who would have thought that they would meet Lin Wudi? Everything would turn to ashes. Lin Wudi was too powerful. The people from the other Holy Lands were also incomparably shocked. They were now rejoicing that their previous choice had been correct. If they had chosen to stand on Hun Tian's side, they would have probably gone to hell by now. After all, Lin Wudi dared to kill Hun Tian's clone. He wouldn't put them in his eyes. For a time, the geniuses of the Holy Lands quickly paid respects to Lin Xian. They were very careful, not daring to offend him. Their young master had become stronger again. Yun Yu was shocked. Peacock's lips curled into a smile. Very good. This was the result of going against their deity palace. With Lin Wudi, their deity palace could sweep through everything. Looking at the stunned faces around him, Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. With a wave of his sleeve, the primal chaos aura that filled the sky disappeared. Then, he walked towards the throne in front of him and smiled. "Everyone, since you want to form an alliance with my deity palace, let's talk." Lin Xian's lips curled up. The people from the other Holy Lands were stunned. Then they sighed. It seemed that they couldn't make any other choice. In the distance, the people from the pure cleansing immortal platform were also shocked. This Lin Wudi wanted to reap the benefits without doing anything. Should we attack? They looked at Qing Tan. Qing Tan said, "Just now, he killed Hun Tian's clone with a single sword strike. Just how strong had he become? No one knew. I didn't have full confidence that I would succeed." The geniuses behind him also sighed. It seemed like there was no way for them to make a move. Those from the Hundun tribe were roaring madly. "Let's see who dares." Extremely terrifying killing intent erupted from their eyes. The surrounding Holy Lands were stunned once again. Lin Xian snorted coldly. "I don't even put Hun Tian in my eyes, let alone you guys." He clapped his hands, and 6 suns flew out, burning the 9 heavens. In the blink of an eye, it enveloped the primal chaos tribe. Those people tried their hardest to defend themselves. However, they were simply unable to do so. 2 of them tried to escape, but they were killed by Lin Xian's 6 Dao Fist. Until now, none of the members of the Hundun clan had perished. "Does anyone have any objections?" Lin Xian spoke again. Those holy lands shook their heads one after another. They didn't dare. They were willing to form an alliance with Deity Hall. Very well, Peacock. I'll leave the rest to you. Lin Xian smiled. Peacock was also delighted. This was originally prepared by Hun Tian. Hun Tian had specially arranged this banquet in order to integrate the power of the quintessential world. Who would have thought that it would benefit them in the end? This was really great. Peacock naturally knew the importance of this matter. She said, "In that case, let's sign an alliance agreement." With a wave of her hand, a scroll flew out. A blood oath to form an alliance. The other Holy Lands had no choice. They knew that from now on, they would have to stand on Lin Wudi's side. However, many people were excited. After all, the power that Lin Wudi had displayed was really terrifying. He didn't even take the Double Crown champion seriously. In addition, he was the only person on the sovereign list. Perhaps in the future, he might really become a great emperor. In an instant, these people all agreed to a blood oath. Very good. Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. This was really an unexpected surprise. This way, he would have another force to support him. The Sacred Hall and the Divine Union were his forces. The quintessential world was already very special. Now that he had the support of these holy lands, it couldn't be better. Come, everyone, let me give you a toast. Lin Xian raised his wine cup and looked around. Then, he drank it in one gulp. To Lin Gongzi. The geniuses of the other holy lands naturally didn't dare to be careless. They all drank it in one gulp. Then, the banquet started again. However, the host had changed from Hun Tian to Lin Xian. Some of the Holy Land's geniuses were very curious. They were newly risen geniuses and didn't know much about the Sacred Hall. Naturally, they didn't know about Lin Xian's past in the quintessential world. However, there were still some people who knew, and the old men explained it to them. Did you know? This Lin Wudi also came from the quintessential world. The other geniuses were surprised, right? Wasn't he from the buried Emperor Star? He was the one who went to the buried Emperor Star later. He had been from the quintessential world before. Back in the quintessential world, he had been known as one of the 5 absolutes, the Middle Emperor. Although he had been young back then, he had been able to defeat the saints. He had been called Lin Wudi. In the end, he had gone to the ancient Star Road with the Yi families, Saint Physique, and the others. It turned out that Lin Gongzi had been so powerful before. Heavens, he is my idol. I must learn from him. Cries of surprise rang out one after another. These youths worshipped top geniuses the most, especially someone like Lin Xian, who didn't have a powerful identity but was able to rise from the ashes. They yearned for him. However, there were also people who said that he had killed the Double Crown King's clone. Could he really contend against the Double Crown King? I heard that he was only the Double Crown King. There were also people who said that geniuses were improving every day, and he was the only one who had reached the 4th level. Do you know what it means to be on the sovereign list? There was once someone who was on the sovereign list and became a great emperor. In other words, he had a lot of hope. Everyone was shocked. The sovereign list was for young sovereigns. Even great emperors would appear among these people. Therefore, Lin Xian's future was limitless. Lin Gongzi, you are a magnanimous person. Please forgive us. At this time, Yuan Zhu, Jin Shao, and the others walked over again. They lowered their heads deeply. The experts of the Holy Land behind them were also very nervous. On the other side, the people of the All Beginnings Holy Land were in despair. They couldn't leave or stay. After all, their All Beginnings Holy Land had an extraordinary relationship with the primal chaos race. How would Lin Xian deal with them? Lin Xian glanced at them and the corners of his mouth rose. Today, my deity's Templar gained a lot of allies. I am very happy. Therefore, I will be lenient. Kneel down and kowtow. Admit your wrongs, cripple your arms, and get out of here. Chapter 52:49. Kneel down and kowtow. Apologize. Cripple your own arms. To top geniuses, this was even more unbearable than death. Therefore, everyone looked at Yuan Zhu, Jin Shao, and the All Beginnings Holy Land. They wanted to know what these people were going to do. When these people heard this condition, their faces turned ashen. This was akin to ruthlessly trampling on their faces. For a moment, they hesitated. At this time, Yunue stood up and said coldly, "What? You still don't understand? Since you don't repent, you can go to hell." Her body emitted an extremely terrifying aura of good and evil. Hearing this, Yuan Ju slashed their bodies with his sword. Could they contend against Lin Wuti? There was only one outcome, death. Therefore, they took a deep breath and knelt down, prostrating themselves on the ground. "Lin Gongzi, we were wrong. Please spare our lives." After saying this, they knelt down and severed their arms. Blood dripped into the void and pierced the ground. These people buried their heads deep into the ground. "All right, scram." Lin Xian waved his hand. These were all ants. He didn't care about them. What he wanted was to intimidate the world. The All Beginnings Holy Lands people naturally didn't dare to resist. They knelt down and severed their own arms. Then, they quickly left. The people from the other Holy Lands rejoiced and heaved a sigh of relief. Lin Wuti's iron-blooded methods had broadened everyone's horizons. They knew that they couldn't become enemies with him in the future. After the banquet ended, Lin Xian brought Peacock and Yunue away. The others also left one after another. News of what had happened here had spread. For a moment, the entire Yuhua ancient city was shocked. Heavens, what did you say? Lin Wuti and Hun Tian fought? That can't be, right? Those two were incomparably terrifying. What was the result? Lin Wuti easily killed Hun Tian's clone. As expected of a supreme being, he was indeed powerful. Countless shocked voices rang out. The primal chaos race gnashed their teeth and roared, "Lin Wuti, just you wait. You're dead." They had already returned to ask Hun Tian's main body to come out of seclusion. Everyone knew that after Hun Tian's main body arrived, there would be a shocking battle between the two sides. At the same time, they were also shocked. Lin Xian's methods were truly terrifying. The princes and princesses were also on high alert. On the other hand, the people from the Divine Hall laughed heartily. They hadn't expected this gathering to be so fruitful. He had integrated the power of so many holy lands. Lin Xian left the matter of the temple to Peacock and Xingtian. At the same time, he asked about Xia Juyo's situation. Xingtian said, the old palace master had not returned yet. Was he in any danger? Lin Xian shook his head. Don't worry, Elder Xia shouldn't be in danger. Lin Xian guessed that Xia Juyo's strength was an existence that surpassed everything. He must have had his reasons for leaving. Lin Xian brought Yunyu back. After they returned, those people at the 9-Star Immortal Foundation were all stunned. Madame Purple Star came personally and asked, Lin Gongzi, are you all right? Be careful, the primal chaos race may want to take revenge on you. Lin Xian laughed when he heard that. Don't worry, if they dare to come, I will send them to hell. Madame Purple Star was shocked. Lin Gongzi, I really admire you. You are my idol. Lin Xian laughed. This brother of his was too polite. Madame Purple Star shook her head. She really admired Lin Xian. Honestly speaking, she was an Immortal Foundation expert, a descendant of the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty. With such an identity, Madame Purple Star had always been high up in the air, looking down on those outside. But now, after getting to know Lin Xian, she changed her mind. Everything Lin Xian did was heaven-shaking. She couldn't help but admire him. Lin Gongzi, make your preparations. The opening of the fortuitous encounter is very close. It's better to adjust your physique to the peak and be prepared at any time. What is the creation? Lin Xian asked. I'm not sure about the details. I only heard that the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty has the Ascension Gate. Once you enter, you will be able to enter the Immortal Ground. Ascension Gate. Immortal Ground. Lin Xian drew in a deep breath. Just the name alone sounded mysterious. The Supreme Great Tao within would definitely be extremely terrifying. Lin Xian definitely wouldn't miss it. There was still a month's time. He had to make his preparations well. Next, Lin Xian, Yunue, and the others returned to their seclusion. 3 days later, someone came. Madame Purple Star said, Lin Gongzi, someone is looking for you outside. Who is it? Lin Xian asked. Madame Purple Star gave a simple description. The other party seemed to be from the Violet Palace. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes when he heard that. It should be Qin Xiener. Where was she? Madame Purple Star said that she had returned, but she gave him a scroll. After Lin Xian received it, he started to inspect it. There was indeed a message recorded by Qin Xianer inside. The content was regarding Shen Jingqiu. Lin Xian, Shen Jingqiu has appeared. She is at the Sky Dome Immortal platform. If you want to see her, you have to be quick. If not, our Manor Lord will arrive soon. Lin Xian kept the scroll and took a deep breath. Sky Dome Immortal platform? He looked at Madame Purple Star and said, I want to go to the Sky Dome Immortal platform to see someone. Madame Purple Star didn't ask anything, because now she completely admired Lin Wudi. She would support Lin Xian no matter what he did. She hurriedly brought Lin Xian to the Sky Dome Immortal platform. The Sky Dome Immortal platform was also one of the terrifying powers. This place was located in the sky, surrounded by clouds and mist. It was abnormally mysterious. The person who came stopped. A cold voice came from the clouds, and the guards of the Immortal platform walked out. Madame Purple Star stated her identity. I am a 9-star Immortal platform. He took out a token. So it was young Master Madame Purple Star. I wonder why young Master Madame Purple Star has come to our Sky Dome Immortal platform? I haven't seen Emote Sangqiong for a long time. I want to see him and spar with him. Emote Sangqiong was also a highly ranked character in the Sky Dome Immortal platform. Hence, after the guards heard this, they hurriedly invited Madame Purple Star in. After all, Madame Purple Star's identity wasn't ordinary. They came to a palace that was like a paradise. Madame Purple Star stood with her hands behind her back. Lin Xian, on the other hand, stood there and looked around. Golden light flashed in his eyes. He was looking for Shen Jingqiu's whereabouts. Inside the Sky Dome Immortal platform, there were layers of restrictions and formations everywhere. Lin Xian's heavenly secret divine eye was extremely powerful. He could see through the formations to investigate. In a courtyard, a middle-aged man frowned and looked around suspiciously. A woman beside him asked, what was going on? In front of them, there was a pill furnace with flickering flames. Obviously, they were concocting pills. The middle-aged man said, I felt that someone was investigating us just now. Impossible. The woman in flames shook her head. Who would be able to investigate the formations around them? Besides, who in the Immortal platform would dare to investigate this place? Was it because you were too nervous while concocting pills? Relax a little. Maybe you are hallucinating. The middle-aged man nodded. Maybe. He closed his eyes again. In another mountain, demonic beasts were roaring incessantly. Many people were using illusions to train these demonic beasts. And on the other side of the mountain, there was a medicinal field. There was a figure in red there. She had a beautiful face and was none other than Shen Jingqiu. Chapter 5250. Found it. Lin Xian retracted his gaze. Then, he rose into the air and left the hall. Zixing was surprised. Lin Gongzi, where are you going? He hurriedly followed. After all, this was not their territory, but the Sky Dome Immortal platform. Along the way, they encountered many array formations. Lin Xian's body erupted with a terrifying aura. A void beast appeared beside him and directly jumped through space. Zixing was very anxious. Lin Gongzi, where are you going? Are you going to the core of the Sky Dome Immortal platform? There are countless old monsters there. You will be killed, Lin Xian said. I'm going to a mountain peak. There are demonic beasts and herb fields there. I know. It's the Fallen Leaf Mountain range. I'll take you there. Zixing heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, it was not the core place. Along the way, there were also many guards. Zixing lied, saying that he wanted to meet Emote Sangqiong there. Only then did the guards let him go. On the other side, a man in battle armor walked out. He was Emote Sangqiong. After receiving the news, the corners of Emote Sangqiong's mouth curled up. Zixing came to look for me? Sparring? This guy is no match for me. It seems that, this time, I have to suppress him properly. He walked towards the hall. But when he arrived, he found that the hall was empty. What's going on? Emote Sangqiong frowned. Could it be that the other party knows that he is no match for me, so he left? Where is he? Emote Sangqiong waved his hand. A guard walked in from outside and knelt down on one knee. Your Highness, young Master Zixing has left. Where did he go? Emote Sangqiong frowned. He went all the way east. You may leave. Emote Sangqiong waved his hand. Then he rose into the air and flew out. On the way, he met a few guards. After asking, he learned that Zixing had gone to the Fallen Leaf Mountain Range. Why would he go there? Emote Sangqiong frowned. An array formation flickered under his feet, teleporting his figure and disappearing. In the Fallen Leaf Mountain Range, there were countless red leaves dancing in the air. After landing, they turned into a golden color, which was very magical. In this red forest, there was an open space. A medicinal field had been established there. Standing at the edge was a woman dressed in red. She had her hands behind her back and her chin was slightly raised. Under the sunlight, the side of her face was abnormally dreamy. It was like crystal glass. If someone was here, they would definitely be stunned. This woman was none other than Shun Jingqiu. She gazed at the red leaves fluttering in the sky. No one knew what she was thinking. At this moment, she suddenly frowned and turned around to look at the distant sky. Did someone come? She muttered softly. In the next instant, the void split open and two figures emerged. An expert. What a terrifying aura. Shun Jingqiu immediately fixed her eyes on one of them. That person wore a black robe and had a handsome face. His eyes shone with a golden radiance. It seemed to be able to see through everything. This person gave her a very dangerous feeling. Qiu'er, it's really you. It was Lin Xian. When he arrived and saw the figure in front of him, he immediately shouted out in joy. He walked forward. Stop! Shun Jingqiu shouted, and a terrifying aura spread out. Who are you? How do you know my name? Lin Xian was stunned. What do you mean, Qiu'er? Don't you recognize me? I'm your big brother Lin Xian. Big brother Lin Xian? A look of confusion appeared in Shun Jingqiu's eyes. He seemed a little familiar. I don't remember having a big brother. Why are you looking for me? Her voice was cold, and it was surprising. What's going on? Don't you recognize me? Lin Xian was even more stunned. He couldn't believe it. Qiu'er, don't joke with me. What's wrong with you? Lin Xian's face became a little cold. Previously, when Qin Xianer told him that Shun Jingqiu had gone to the Purple Mansion, he had a bad feeling. Now, there was indeed a problem. Qiu'er didn't recognize him. Was it the doing of the prefectural magistrate? Brother Lin, do you know him? Behind him, Zixing was also shocked. This scene was a little strange. Lin Xian didn't reply. Instead, he continued to walk forward. Shun Jingqiu felt a sense of danger. A golden whirlpool appeared on her body, and it emitted a terrifying energy. Don't come any closer. She drew a crack in the ground. If you step over this crack, don't blame me for killing you. Her voice was filled with cold killing intent. Lin Xian stopped in front of the crack. Pain appeared in his eyes. Do you really not recognize me? That damned Purple Mansion. How dare they attack you? Don't worry, Qiu'er. I won't let them off. Lin Xian still wanted to walk forward. Shun Jingqiu's aura condensed, and she was about to unleash an ultimate attack. However, at this moment, the void cracked again, and a figure appeared. He appeared between the two of them. This figure blocked Lin Xian's path. You're attacking me here. Are you not putting the Sky Dome immortal platform in your eyes? The man who appeared had a terrifying aura. It was like a piece of heaven, and it was incomparable. Those who block me will die. Lin Xian was infuriated. Now that Shun Jingqiu had such a problem, he was incomparably anxious. Whoever dared to block him would be his enemy. Lin Xian took a step forward. Flames erupted from his body, and he was like the god of the sun, descending to heaven and earth. Stop! Seeing this scene, Madame Purple Star hurriedly shouted. She flew over and said, Sir, don't attack. I'm Emote Sangqiu. At the same time, she said to Emote Sangqiu, this is a friend I brought here. He has no ill intentions. Friend? Emote Sangqiu frowned. Lin Xian also didn't attack. The other party should be a highness of the Sky Dome immortal platform. He retracted his palm. Emote Sangqiu looked at Madame Purple Star and asked, What are you doing? Madame Purple Star had a puzzled look on her face. To be honest, I'm not too sure either. Lin Gongzi, can you explain? Lin Xian's gaze was fixed on Shen Jingqiu. Emote Sangqiong frowned. This, sir, she's a genius of the Purple Mansion Immortal Platform and a guest of our Sky Dome Immortal Platform. If you dare to attack her, don't blame me for being impolite. Clearly, this was a warning to Lin Xian. Madame Purple Star also said, Lin Gongzi, let's talk things over nicely. She also didn't wish for Lin Xian to offend a highness of the Sky Dome Immortal Platform. Lin Xian glanced at Emote Sangqiu. I don't wish to be enemies with the Sky Dome Immortal Platform. It's just that she's my Dao companion. Now that there's a problem with her soul, I have to act to save her. What? Dao companion? Emote Sangqiu frowned. Madame Purple Star was also shocked. But from the looks of it, Lin Xian shouldn't be joking. Emote Sangqiu said, This Fairy Shin is the fourth successor of the Purple Mansion Immortal Platform. I've never heard of her having a husband. Are you lying to me? Humph, Lin Xian coldly snorted. I've said it before. The problem with my Dao companion's soul is caused by the Purple Mansion Immortal Platform. I have a grudge with the Purple Mansion. If you insist on helping them, don't blame me. Lin Xian didn't wish to be enemies with the Sky Dome Immortal Platform. But if the Sky Dome Immortal Platform wanted to be enemies with him, then sorry. For Shen Jingqiu, Lin Xian dared to be enemies with the entire world. Chapter 52-51. You are too arrogant. Emote Sangqiu was enraged. He was a prince of the Immortal Foundation, and this was his territory. Was the other party threatening him? His face turned cold. At the same time, he frowned. Madame Purple Star, who is he? Why are you friends with someone who doesn't know the meaning of death? Madame Purple Star was also anxious. Don't attack. He is Lin Wudi. What? Lin Wudi? The Lin Wudi on the Paragon list? Emote Sangqiu was shocked when he heard that. He had also heard of this person. Lin Wudi was now a young paragon. He was above all the other geniuses. He didn't expect him to be this person. No wonder he felt like he was facing a great enemy. But so what? Emote Sangqiu coldly said, Lin Wudi, I know you have ascended to the 4th level of the Starfall Hall and have the possibility of becoming a great emperor. But that's just a possibility. You are still a great sage. This is the Sky Dome Immortal Foundation, not a place where you can behave atrociously. If you stop now and leave, I will treat you with respect. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Impolite? Lin Xian coldly snorted. I have said before that I will take my wife away. Anyone who tries to stop me is my enemy. Lin Xian stomped his foot, causing the earth to crack. The terrifying aura caused the entire Fallen Leaf mountain range to tremble. Countless demonic beasts crawled in the mountain range. Those beast tamers had a drastic change in expression. What a terrifying power. Emote Sangqiu also felt a terrifying aura. Is this the power of a divine body? Lin Wudi was indeed a paragon, but he wasn't someone to be trifled with. He was also a peak-level genius. His body emitted a boundless aura that seemed to have transformed into the sky. At the same time, countless figures rushed over from all directions. Your Highness, what happened? When they saw that someone was confronting their Highness, they all descended one after another. Who dares to behave atrociously here? Surrender without a fight. Cold shouts rang out one after another. Madame Purple Star's expression changed. Everyone, please don't attack. This is a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? Emote Sangqiu's expression was cold. If he didn't stop, then it wouldn't be a misunderstanding. Madame Purple Star, don't blame me for not giving you face. Lin Gongzi, let's talk things over. Purple Star advised. Lin Xian remained unmoved, but at this time, Shen Jingqiu, who had been silent all this time, spoke up. You are Lin Wudi? The only young supreme martial artist? I want to see what's so amazing about a supreme being like you. Your Highness, can you stop and let me fight? Please help me arrange the battlefield. Was Fairy Shin going to make a move? Emote Sangqiu was also stunned for a moment before he nodded. All right, I'll set up the battlefield for you. With a wave of his hand, the Immortal Foundation experts in the surroundings also retracted their law energy. They stood on one side and worked together to set up a formation, forming a battlefield. At the same time, they were shocked. Was the man in front of them Lin Wudi? Did Lin Wudi come to the Sky Dome Immortal platform to behave atrociously? One of them said. It seemed like they weren't here for us, but for Fairy Shun. There was enmity between him and the Purple Mansion. Discussions broke out as Shin Jingqiu walked into the array formation. I don't know why you're looking for me, but it seems like you have a lot of questions. If you can defeat me, I'll explain. Shin Jingqiu said coldly. Lin Xian took a deep breath. All right, but don't worry, I won't hurt you. Hurt me? What a joke. Who do you think you are? You think you can sweep through everything just because you're on the sovereign list? I'll let you know how powerful I am. Shin Jingqiu shouted and slapped her palm over. Her palm seemed to have turned into an immortal seal, descending from the sky with a mysterious aura. Fairy Shun was so terrifying. The surrounding Immortal Foundation experts felt this scene and their expressions changed. Fairy Shun definitely had the strength of an emperor. She was a young powerhouse. Emote Sangqiong also narrowed his eyes. He didn't expect her to be so strong. Previously, he noticed her because of her beautiful face. He didn't expect her strength to be no weaker than his. Lin Xian was also gratified. Qiu Er's improvement was godly. It was just that she didn't recognize him. This was a hidden danger. As he thought about it, he attacked. The vast palm brought along a sea of flames with it as it grabbed out in front of him with a mighty aura. Buzz. The collision between the two was earth-shattering. Lin Xian's palm was as steady as a rock, directly grabbing Shan Jingqiu's hand. He slapped out his other palm, wanting to suppress Shan Jingqiu. Countless people were shocked. As expected of the legendary Lin Wudi, his methods were too strong. Damn it! Shin Xiuqiu snorted coldly. She formed a seal with her palm and suddenly, a golden vortex erupted. She pushed Lin Xian's palm away and at the same time, she shouted and pointed her finger. There was a biting cold saber light on her finger that could split heaven and earth. Lin Xian was also shocked. He shot out a sword chi to fight back. Next, the two of them attacked. The more they fought, the more shocked the crowd was. Everyone had heard of Lin Xian's strength, but Shan Jingqiu's various ultimate techniques left them dumbfounded. Even Lin Xian was shocked. He had never seen these before. These were the ultimate techniques of the Violet Palace realm. It seemed that Shin Jingqiu was valued in the Violet Palace realm. However, what shocked him more was the golden vortex on her body. That was the origin inheritance that she cultivated. As for what it was, he didn't know. It was very likely that it was very dangerous for Qiu. Thinking of this, Lin Xian roared angrily and his abijna changed. The six paths fist transformed into six worlds that enveloped Shan Jingqiu. At the same time, a golden radiance burst out from his eyes. The terrifying power of reincarnation appeared on the Reincarnation Mountain. It seemed to want to suppress Shan Jingqiu's soul. He wanted to see what kind of changes had happened to her soul. He guessed that the Violet Palace realm must have changed her soul. As long as he could find a flaw, he could help Shan Jingqiu recover. The power of the six paths of reincarnation appeared, causing the world to change. The surrounding people retreated, and the array was constantly shattering. At this moment, Shan Jingqiu was also suppressed. Her soul was enveloped by Lin Xian's gaze, as if it was about to be torn apart. She roared and her black hair danced wildly. You want to pry into my soul? You're too naive. Countless golden vortexes spun around her body. In those vortexes, mysterious figures appeared one after another. The golden figure sat cross-legged like a god. The moment he appeared, the 9 heavens and 10 earths shattered. The people on the Sky Dome Immortal platform turned pale. Even Emote Sangqiong's pupils constricted. What was that? He felt suffocated. It was too terrifying. It could even threaten his life. He retreated far away. The moment these golden figures appeared, they let out a heavenly sound that blasted in all directions. It caused the 6 paths of Reincarnation Mountain to shake and then collapse. Shin Jingqiu rushed out and slapped at Lin Xian. There were countless vortexes in her palm. The golden figures on them suddenly burst out with a terrifying radiance that swept everything. Not good, Zixing exclaimed. Lin Gongzi quickly retreated. He could naturally feel the terror of the golden figures. The people on the Immortal platform were also shocked. Lin Wudi wouldn't die here, right? That was an earth-shattering event. Chapter 52:52. Seeing the golden figure, Lin Xian frowned. It's that thing again. He had seen it before, and the power it carried was too terrifying. He shouted coldly, and demonic aura appeared on his body. A demonic shadow appeared behind him, holding up the heavens and earth. Once it appeared, thousands of demons surged, as if a demon god had been resurrected. Shun Jingqiu's palm stopped, and the light on it was suppressed. The golden figure in the vortex suddenly opened its eyes, like thousands of golden lightning streaking across the sky. Buzz. The demonic shadow behind Lin Xian's back became even more terrifying. At the same time, it raised its palm, and countless demonic runes gathered on it. The confrontation between the two mysterious phantoms made everyone feel like they were facing a formidable enemy. Even Lin Xian and Shun Jingqiu were surprised, as if the situation was out of their control. The previous confrontation between the demonic shadow and the opponent was the Dragon Emperor Phantom in the Dragon Prince's body. They did not expect a similar situation to happen to Shun Jingqiu. Lin Xian was surprised. He knew that the two phantoms should have many secrets, but now was not the time to think too much. He should take this opportunity to suppress Qiu and then slowly think of a solution. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He decided to activate his sword and suppress Shan Qingqiu with his world. A spatial crack appeared beside him, like a devouring beast, and was about to swallow Shin Qingqiu. Shin Jingqiu shouted angrily, trying to resist. However, she was restrained by the demonic shadow. Not good. Emote Songqiong and the others' faces changed. Stop! They shouted angrily. If Shin Jingqiu was taken away here, not only would they not be able to explain themselves, but they would also lose face. Boom! An earth-shattering sound was heard. This move was like a heavenly palace that fell from the sky, shattering the heavens and earth. It was not Emote Songqiong and the others who attacked, but someone else. In the face of this terrifying attack, Emote Songqiong and the others retreated again. Even Purple Star retreated. Lin Xian's body swayed, and he was instantly teleported. In the next moment, the demonic shadow on his body disappeared, and he stared at the front with a solemn expression. The pinnacle of a great sage. That's right, the power of that palm was at the pinnacle of a great sage. Fortunately, he had summoned the devil shadow, so he was able to dodge it. Otherwise, he would have been torn apart by this attack. Who dared to make a move? Lin looked ahead. There was a woman in a purple robe in front of him. Her body was covered with great das. There were even black lotus flowers blooming on his robes, making him look exceptionally demonic. Lin Xian frowned. The chief of the Z Mansion. Lin Wudi, you dare to attack people from the Z Mansion? Aren't you afraid that I will kill you? The Purple Mansion headmaster's voice was sharp. She glared at Lin Xian. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was fearless. He sneered, "Come at me if you dare. You're a peak great sage, and you're breaking the rules by attacking me. Soon, the Quasi-Emperors will make a move on your Violet Palace Hall." Previously, Lord Alcohol had appeared in the human world and stopped the battle between the Myriad Dragon Dynasty and Lin Xian. At the same time, he warned the world that peak great sages were not allowed to make a move against Lin Xian. Hearing this, the Purple Mansion's mansion master coldly harumphed. Don't think that you can continue to be arrogant just because you have a quasi-emperor protecting you. There is more than one quasi-emperor in the world. You've offended Hun Tian. You're finished without us doing anything. Leave quickly today. Otherwise, even if I don't kill you, I'll make you suffer. What did you do to Qiu? Tell me and I'll release her soul seal. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. A sharp sword intent appeared on Lin Xian's body and shot into the sky. No matter what, he had to save Qiu today. So what if she was the Purple Mansion's mansion master? At most, he would activate the sky-devouring jar. Or he could use the great dragon sword soul to attack. Young man, you're playing with fire. The Purple Mansion's mansion master was furious. Although Lin Xian had countless trump cards, she was the mansion master. How extraordinary was her status? How could she be threatened by a young man? The battle was about to erupt. At this moment, the sky darkened. The sun had set, and the moon was rising. This was the change of day and night. It was a normal thing. Lin Xian didn't care. He wasn't in the mood to care about these things. However, Shun Jingqiu's expression changed. The coldness in her eyes slowly disappeared. It was replaced by a look of doubt. Brother Lin Xian, are you here? Lin Xian's body shook. Qiu'er, you've recovered? He was overjoyed. The Qiu'er in front of him was the Shun Jingqiu he knew. She wanted to run over but was stopped by the Purple Mansion's mansion master. Don't forget our agreement. The old woman let go of her. Lin Xian shouted angrily. Sword Qi appeared on his body again. Shun Jingqiu stopped. She said, I know. Brother Lin Xian, you don't have to worry about me. I'm fine. Go back first. I'll find you one day. Qiu'er, what happened to you just now? What kind of cultivation technique are you practicing? Shun Jingqiu shook her head. I don't know. I only know that I'm different in the day. Anyway, you don't have to worry too much. Not the same? Lin Xian furrowed his brows tightly. Emote Sangqiong and Zixing were also surprised. What kind of cultivation technique is this? It's too strange. All right. Lin Xian retracted his hand and looked at the Purple Mansion's mansion master again. Listen, if you dare to hurt Qiu'er, don't blame me for being impolite. After he finished speaking, he turned and left. Zixing quickly followed. Did he leave? The people on the immortal platform heaved a sigh of relief. They didn't know why, but they felt even more pressured just now. The Purple Mansion's mansion master looked gloomy. A young man dared to threaten her. She would make him regret it one day. All right, come with me. She turned to look at Shun Jingqiu and said in a deep voice. Her attitude towards Shun Jingqiu was not like an elder facing a junior. She seemed to value her a lot. What was the Purple Mansion's plan? Shun Jingqiu and the others left. The immortal platform quieted down again. This matter was not spread. Emote Sangqiong ordered a lockdown. At the same time, the atmosphere in the Yuhua ancient city became tense. This was because there were only 10 days left before they could seize the opportunity of fortune. 10 days later, whether or not they could improve further would really depend on their luck. After Lin Xian returned, he went into seclusion to cultivate. After a few days, Yin Ruyu and Murong Qingcheng came out of seclusion. When they heard about Shun Jingqiu, they were also surprised. What kind of cultivation technique was this? Why would Qiu'er cultivate such a strange cultivation technique? Yin Ruyu also frowned. It should be a very ancient cultivation technique. You said that she can summon a human figure that is similar to your demonic shadow. I think this cultivation technique is not ordinary. You better be careful. I know. Lin Xian nodded. However, there was nothing he could do. He was not an emperor's son and did not have an emperor's bloodline. He could only cultivate emperor's cultivation techniques. The only emperor's cultivation technique he had was the demon summoning scripture. Therefore, he could only cultivate it carefully. After this matter was over, he would return to the buried emperor's star and explore the emperor's tomb. Perhaps he did not need to do so. After all, the Yuhua immortal dynasty had produced emperors before. This time, they were invited here for supreme power and opportunity. Perhaps there would be an emperor's inheritance. Chapter 52-53. Finally, the day had arrived. The Hall Master of the 9-star immortal platform gathered everyone. Madame Purple Star had come to invite Lin Xian, Yin Ruyu, and Murong Qingqing. Apart from them, the 9-star immortal platform had also invited others. For example, the Heavenly Snake Clan. There were also some top-tier experts. When these people saw Lin Xian, they all sucked in cold breaths. One had to know that Lin Xian was currently the only young paragon. During this period of time, someone had divided the geniuses who had come to the Ascension dynasty into many ranks. The most powerful one was the one who had made it onto the young paragon list. Only one person was Lin Xian. He was above everyone else. Those below him were called the young titans. Those at this level were those who had the strength of an emperor. For example, there were some princes and princesses, as well as those who had cultivated the great emperor's ancient scripture. Below them were the top-tier geniuses. These people were also extraordinary. Perhaps they had powerful saint artifacts or secret techniques. In any case, they couldn't be underestimated. Everyone, please come with me. The Hall Master of the 9-star immortal platform rose into the air and everyone followed. At the same time, the other immortal platforms in the ancient city also began to move. They gathered in the depths of the ancient city, where they would open the Ascension Gate. There was a plaza in the depths of the ancient city, and many people had already gathered there. Lin Xian also saw some familiar faces, such as Yi Wudao, Kuan Pingzi, Gu Feng, Yao Guang, and the newcomer Long Wu. Xin Jingqiu and the people from the Purple Mansion were also there. These people also turned to look at Lin Xian. Among them, there were many people who had cold killing intent in their eyes. Lin Xian didn't care. He was looking forward to these people making a move on him. On the other side, the people from the Starfall Immortal platform had also arrived. After they arrived, they gave Lin Xian a scroll. Speaking of which, there is some information here. Your Highness, please take a look. Also, Your Highness, you must be careful and return safely. All right, I got it. Lin Xian smiled bitterly. The Nebula Immortal Foundation really treated him as its young master. The others were also shocked as they discussed. This Lin Xian's luck was truly good, to be able to gain the favor of two Immortal Foundation experts. However, there were also people who snorted coldly. They knew that the other party was about to die. The other party had slain Hun Tion's clone, and it was said that Hun Tion's main body was currently on the way here. A day later, those Immortal Foundation Hall lords all walked out, standing in 8 different directions. They formed seals with their palms. Open the Ascension Gate. These people cut open their palms. Blood dripped down and merged into the void. The void in front of him cracked open, and a mysterious door appeared. It was unknown where it led to. What a mysterious aura. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes as he looked at the Ascension Gate. It was said that behind the mysterious door was the deity ground. What kind of magic awaited him? He was looking forward to it. Let's go. Purple Star would also go this time, and he would still stay with Lin Xian and the others. Lin Xian and the others nodded and walked forward. At the same time, the others also entered, vanishing from sight. Staring at the disappearing silhouettes, the eyes of those Immortal Foundation experts flickered. They wondered how many of them would be able to obtain good fortune. For every Immortal Foundation expert, there were people heading there. For example, for the 9-star Immortal Foundation expert, Purple Star went there. That Shenmue from before also entered. For the other Immortal Foundation experts, there were also people at the peak of the Immortal Foundation level who entered. One could even say that these people were the main force. Because they knew more information, the reason why they invited the other geniuses was because they wanted to have a greater chance. After entering, what greeted them was a mystical place. It was like a brand new world, incomparably vast, with no end in sight. The aura here was abnormally terrifying, and everyone could feel the pressure. Our strength is suppressed here. Those from the Sky Serpent race furrowed their brows. Yin Ruyu's eyes flickered. What a terrifying aura. And here, they were unable to unleash their full strength. Indeed, because they had to divert a portion of their strength to resist the pressure here. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He was also shocked in his heart. He wasn't unfamiliar with this pressure. This world was similar to his sword world. The pressure was extremely terrifying. One had to know that when he first entered the sword world, it was difficult for him to move an inch. Now, he had already adapted to the sword world. And at this moment, the pressure here was slightly smaller than the sword world. Therefore, although it was terrifying, it was equivalent to nothing for Lin Xian. He wasn't affected, but that didn't mean that the other geniuses weren't affected. Even the big shots were affected here. They could only unleash about 70% of their strength. And those top geniuses would probably be suppressed even more terrifyingly. Roar. At this moment, roars came from the distant forest. Some demonic beasts rushed out. There were a total of 5 demonic beasts. Their bodies were huge and abnormally terrifying. The killing intent emitted from their bodies was extremely shocking. So terrifying. Even those top geniuses were shocked. In this place, every step was filled with killing intent. They had to be careful. Yunyu walked out, formed a seal with her palm, and slapped out. Angel Staff, Devil Blade. The power of good and evil was used by her, sending 3 demonic beasts flying. The other 2 were sent flying by the people on Chun Mu's side. These demonic beasts seem to have grown up here since they were young, so they were not affected by the pressure. We have to be careful. Zixing and the others frowned. Chenmu said, "Everyone good luck?" After saying that, he waved his hand and left with his people. Lin Gongzi, let's go as well. Zixing took a deep breath and also soared into the sky. Not only Lin Xian sighed, but the others also felt a huge pressure after entering. However, there were also people who were excited. In such a mysterious world, the demonic beasts inside were far superior to those outside. Then the spiritual medicines here would definitely be more terrifying than those outside. If they could obtain some heavenly treasures, then their strength would increase by an astonishing amount. A ray of light flashed, and a man entered. There was no light on his body, but he could devour light. He was Yao Guang. Yao Guang, the corners of his mouth raised. There shouldn't be anyone at the peak of the great sage realm coming in here. That way, I can attack without any scruples. This time, I must taste the blood of the emperor. His eyes erupted with a sharp killing intent. Others were here to look for heavenly treasures, but he was here to hunt down the young giants. Buzz. His figure flickered, and he quickly disappeared. In another void, Gu Feng, Yi Wudao, and the others appeared one after another. At the same time, outside, a ray of light streaked across the sky with the power to split heaven and earth. The people guarding outside all turned their heads to look. What a terrifying aura! Even some of the elders of the older generation were shocked. The pupils of the people on the immortal foundation shrank. This was the power of primal chaos. The people on the Greenwood Immortal Foundation were shocked. It seemed that Hun Tian's main body had come. Chapter 52-54. A figure descended like an ancient god. His appearance shocked everyone. He was Hun Tian. This time, his true body came personally. Was this the power of the double-crown champion? Those elders were also terrified. Hun Tian walked over and looked ahead. This must be the Ascension Gate. He walked in. Lin Wudi, just you wait. I'll make sure you die without a burial place. His cold voice made people's scalps tingle. It seemed that Hun Tian was here for revenge. This was going to be interesting. This was the true double champion. No matter how strong Lin Wudi was, would he be able to withstand it? Inside the deity ground, everyone had already scattered. Some acted alone, while others formed small teams and moved together. Among them, there was a team of 4 people. This team was very terrifying. These 4 people came from different places. They were all geniuses of the true spirit world's sacred grounds. They worked together to investigate. There was a valley in front of them. There seemed to be a medicinal fragrance coming from inside. In their opinion, there should be a set of precious sacred herbs inside. If they could get it, it would be very beneficial for them. These people went in and fought with the demonic beasts inside. It was earth-shattering. At this time, a figure descended from the sky and entered the valley. Who was it? Come out. In front, the people of the Dayan's sacred ground roared. Their sword chi swept out. Was someone trying to take advantage of the situation? The people of the 5 elements sacred ground also roared. However, that person didn't hide at all and walked in directly. With just you guys, I don't need to take advantage of the situation. Who are you? They frowned when they saw the figure in front of them. The other party didn't emit any aura. How dare he come alone? Humph, courting death. Kill him first. These people didn't attack the demonic beasts in front of them. Instead, they turned around and attacked the figure behind them. The 4 of them attacked together. Go to hell. A terrifying power erupted. Great Wilderness Hunter Hand. The figure behind waved his hands and tore a crack, tearing one of them in half. The other 3 people's expressions changed drastically. So terrifying. Take out your ultimate techniques. The 3 of them didn't dare to be careless and used their strongest techniques. The figure sneered. You guys are pitifully weak. He stretched out his hands and turned them into 2 vortexes, enveloping the 2 of them. The 3rd person was kicked away, his head turning into a bloody mist. Boom, boom, boom. In the blink of an eye, 4 people were seriously injured. They let out terrified roars. The 4 of them were all top-notch geniuses. If the 4 of them joined forces, how terrifying would that be? But now, he couldn't even block a single move from his opponent. That person waved his right hand and destroyed the two of them. Then, the black vortex began to devour the blood. Damn it! Could this be the legendary devouring heaven demonic art? You're that light-shaking realm cultivator. Run. The two of them were terrified. This was a legendary forbidden martial art. Don't you think it's too late to find out who I am now? Yao Guang laughed coldly as he easily killed the other two. Then, it swallowed all of their power. Not bad. Yao Guang's lips curled up. This training ground was really too good. In the past, if he wanted to find such a genius, he would have to search the entire world. But now, the Yuhua immortal dynasty gathered all these people in one place. When he took action, his efficiency was much higher. He believed that when he got out, his strength would undergo an earth-shattering change. When the demonic beast in front saw this scene, it was also frightened and prostrated on the ground. However, Yao Guang didn't let it go. He directly swallowed this behemoth. The last sacred medicine was going to be taken away by him. On the other side, Lin Xian and the others also set off. They moved forward courageously because their strength was really too strong. Although they were few in number, they were all top-notch powerhouses. Lin Xian himself was a supreme being, while Yin Ruyu and Murong Qingsheng were young powerhouses. Even Madame Purple Star had the strength of a young powerhouse. Such a lineup was heaven-defying. They were fearless. Madame Purple Star had a scroll in her hand. Lin Xian also had a scroll in his hand. This scroll was given to him by the Nebula Immortal Platform. Some information about the deity land was recorded on it, and there was also a simple map. He compared it with Madame Purple Star's and found that it was generally the same, but the details were different. It seemed that the information obtained by each immortal platform was different. In this way, Lin Xian and the others combined the two scrolls, and the information was more complete. The map shows that there seems to be a tribe ahead. With our speed, we should be able to reach it before dark. Should we go over? A tribe. Are there natives here? Murong Qingsheng was surprised. Who lived in the celestial land? Are they the legendary immortals? I don't know. Madame Purple Star shook her head. Lin Xian also said, "Let's go and take a look." He was also very interested. The group of people sped up and flew forward. Finally, they arrived at the tribe before evening. The tribe wasn't big, and it looked very simple. The arrival of Lin Xian and the others surprised the people in the tribe again. Are there more guests? Please come in. An old woman walked out. She was wearing cotton clothes with patches on her body. Her voice was very kind, but her appearance was very strange. Lin Xian and the others could see that not only was this not a human, but it was a demonic beast. It was a demonic wolf with a green glow all over its body. This was a green wolf, a rare beast of heaven and earth. She actually walked upright like a human. It was really strange. Yin Ruyu was surprised. Normally, when a rare beast of heaven and earth cultivated to this level, they would still maintain the appearance of a demonic beast and disdain to transform. Otherwise, they would directly transform into a human. However, this was the first time they saw a demonic beast that was similar to a human. Could it be that these people couldn't transform due to special reasons? They didn't know. You guys have come from afar. Come in quickly. Granny Green Wolf invited Lin Xian and the others in. Not only Granny Green Wolf, but the demonic beasts in the tribe all maintained a ferocious appearance, but they looked like humans. Not only did they walk upright, but they were also very kind and polite. This is a strange tribe. Be careful. Lin Xian reminded them in a low voice. The few of them nodded, but they weren't too afraid. With their strength and lineup, what danger would there be? They were confident that they could leave. After entering, they found that they weren't the only ones who had arrived. There were others before them. It was the Heavenly Rock Clan, the people of the Fate tribe. When they saw Lin Xian and the others, they were stunned. Especially the Fate tribe, they gritted their teeth. There was even a murderous intent in their eyes. Not only did they have murderous intent towards Lin Xian, but they also had murderous intent towards Yunyu. Yunyu, as the #1 genius of their family, had actually become someone else's servant. This was a slap to their face. Humph, let's go. The people of the Fate tribe gritted their teeth and snorted. They couldn't beat Lin Wudi now. However, They didn't want to be with Lin Wuti. So, they prepared to leave the tribe. At this moment, Granny Green Wolf walked out and said, "You guys better not leave." Chapter 52-55. Hearing that, the Fate clan was enraged. "Why? Are you trying to stop us?" They were afraid of Lin Wuti, but it didn't mean that they were afraid of the people in the tribe. Suddenly, the aura of good and evil burst out from their bodies. It was terrifying. Granny Green Wolf sighed. "Don't be angry. I'm not trying to restrict you. It's getting dark and it's dangerous outside." "It's getting dark? Dangerous?" The Fate clan sneered. "Granny, do you think we're 3 years old? So what if it's getting dark? We can go anywhere in the universe. Let's go." They waved their hands and left. Granny Green Wolf sighed. A black bull walked over. He was wearing a loose robe and held 2 hammers in his hands. He snorted coldly. "A bunch of reckless people. They'll regret it. What's going on?" Murong Chincheng was also confused. The black bull said, "This place was very dangerous. If they went out at night, they would die. Therefore, they could go out during the day and stay in the tribe at night. That was the safest place." When Lin Xian and the others heard this, their brows furrowed even tighter. They said that they would stay and observe the situation. They weren't too sure about the deity ground. Was there any magical power? They stayed in the tribe for about the time it took to brew a cup of tea. Suddenly, there was a scream from afar. "Save us, let us in." The scream was filled with fear. The people in the tribe were alarmed. Lin Xian and the rest walked out. The Tian Peng clan was also surprised. Bailey Wuck frowned. It was the Fate clan. That's right, it was the people who left earlier. But only 2 of them returned. One of them was still injured, while the other had a pale face and was trembling uncontrollably. "Why are there only 2 of you? Where are the other 3? Bailey Wuck asked. "Dead." The 2 of them were terrified. "There's a demon." They were extremely afraid. "What happened?" Bailey Wuck asked. Yin Ruyu also said, "Tell me what happened." However, the 2 of them shook their heads. "We don't know. We only know that something is attacking us." "Something inexplicable? Is it an illusion?" Lin Xian asked. "With your strength, you should be able to see it clearly, right?" "Damn it, don't look down on us. We're still top-notch geniuses. Whether it's an illusion or not, we can tell." "Lin Wuti, if you don't believe me, why don't you go out and try it yourself?" Lin Xian furrowed his brows tightly. However, the tribesman walked out and said, "Young master, don't go. Don't go outside when it's dark." What was out there? Madame Purple Star and the others were very curious. Granny Green Wolf sighed. "There are unknown things outside that we don't know about. Let's stay here for now and investigate during the day." Lin Xian also felt that something was amiss. He wasn't willing to take risks so easily. The group settled down. When night fell, everyone was cultivating. The next morning, an accident happened. The 2 Fate clan members from yesterday were nowhere to be seen. Could it be that these 2 fellows didn't know what was good for them and left again? Everyone frowned and shook their heads. They didn't care if the other party was courting death. However, there was another matter that exceeded everyone's expectations. Murong Qingcheng walked over and said with a frown, "Yun Yu is unconscious." Hearing this, Lin Xian walked over and checked. Then, his face turned cold. Yun Yu's body was cold and she seemed to be dead. What happened? Who attacked? Lin Xian snorted coldly. A terrifying aura appeared and the entire tribe seemed to be covered by 100,000 mountains. The people in the tribe were all alarmed. They looked at Lin Xian in shock. "Young master." Granny Green Wolf walked over. Lin Xian said, "What happened last night? Why did my companion become like this?" Granny Green Wolf and the others went to check and were stunned. "How did this happen?" Uncle Black Bull was also stunned. "I'll go find Elder Pegasus." He hurried over. Not long later, an old man walked over. It was a Pegasus with an old face. He walked very slowly. When he arrived, he exclaimed, "Her soul was gone. Did she go out?" "She shouldn't have." Yin Ruyu shook her head. "If she went out, they should have noticed." Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. His soul was gone? An extremely terrifying light burst out from his eyes and shrouded Yunyu. What happened? He had planted an imprint in Yunyu's soul. If her soul was gone, he should be the first to notice. However, he didn't notice it. It was really strange. This place was too scary. What was going on? Although Yunyu was just a servant, Lin Xian wouldn't allow her to die without knowing why. His expression was cold as he looked around. The people of the Tianpeng race were terrified. Bailey Wuck said, "It has nothing to do with our Tianpeng race. It should be the two people from the Fate race who disappeared." The people in the tribe were also discussing. This was also a big matter to them, especially the elder Pegasus. After he determined that her soul was gone, those people were stunned. Some people were terrified. How was it possible? Could that thing enter the village? What kind of joke was this? This was definitely impossible. How did her soul disappear? She was definitely taken away by that thing. What thing? What do you know? If you don't say it, don't blame me for being impolite. Lin Xian's sword and tint swept across the sky, causing those people to be terrified. Young master, please calm down. Let me say it. Grandma Green Wolf sighed. Last night, I told you not to go out because it was dangerous outside. Once the sky turned dark, there would be soul-devouring beasts outside. Whoever went out would have their soul taken away and perish. However, soul-devouring beasts only appear when the sky turns dark and they can't enter our tribe. Only this place is safe. However, we don't know why your companion lost her soul. Chapter 52-56 Soul Tower. After hearing this, Lin Xian's eyes lit up. This meant that Yunyua's soul should not have fallen yet. Since that was the case, he would save her. Where was the Soul Tower? He asked. Could it be that young master wanted to go? Grandmother Wolf shook her head. It's useless. We know the place. But you can't open it during the day, and whoever goes out at night will lose their soul. This was something that couldn't be solved. Don't worry. You just need to tell me where the Soul Tower is. Leave the rest to me, Lin Xian said. Since it was a soul-devouring beast, Lin Xian was not afraid. The other party could take away his soul? He had many trump cards, and he wanted to see how the other party could take away his soul. Also, he guessed that there must be a secret for the soul-devouring beast to put its soul in the Soul Tower. This secret might be related to the soul. They had come to the celestial land in search of opportunities. But what was an opportunity? There was no specific one. Maybe someone would fall down the cliff and find the great emperor's cultivation technique. Maybe they would find an opportunity in the adventure. Now that there was a legend of the Soul Tower, Lin Xian naturally would not give up. Lin Xian asked again, and Grandfather Pegasus sighed. He took out a map and said the place marked by the red was where the Soul Tower was. You can go and take a look during the day, but you must come back at night. Got it. Lin Xian smiled, put away the map, and prepared to go. Murong Qingcheng said, We'll go with you. Yin Ruyu also stood up. Madame Purple Star said that she would go too. All right, seeing that these people were willing to go, Lin Xian nodded. Then let's see how magical the soul-devouring beast is. They set off. Bailey Wuck did not go. After all, this place was too strange. The people of the Tianpeng tribe also went to look for other opportunities. At noon, Lin Xian and the others arrived, but there was nothing in front of them. There was nothing. It can't be wrong, right? Murong Qingcheng frowned. Lin Xian's eyes burst out with a golden light, surrounding everything, but he did not find anything. He said, Didn't the people in the tribe say that they couldn't enter during the day and would only appear at night? It should be like this. Let's wait. It's only half a day. Lin Xian and the others sat cross-legged, waiting. During this time, several figures flashed past. Big brother, look, there's someone up ahead. Those people were standing there and not leaving. Could it be that they had some kind of treasure? Let's go and take a look. A few figures soared into the air and flew over. Someone was there. Madame Purple Star and the others below all opened their eyes and turned their heads to look. In the next moment, they saw a few figures descend from the sky. These people had extremely terrifying flaming auras. There were even some places where the scales were flickering. The terrifying aura was shocking. Murong Qingsheng frowned. Yin Ruyu said, he is from the Kirin clan. Correct. We are Fire Qilin Caves people, Emperor clans. Now, I am asking you all, what are you all doing here? Was there a treasure? If you have it, hand it over. 3 figures stood in the sky with their hands behind their backs. Their eyes were filled with confidence. They were great Emperor clans, and these people would obediently show them their treasures. So what if it was Fire Qilin Cave? Get lost. Disappear from my sight before I change my mind. Lin Xian said coldly. He was in a bad mood. Courting death. You dare to challenge me? The man in front of the Fire Qilin Cave shouted angrily. A Kirin roar came from his body, and monstrous flames swept across the sky. Lin Xian waved his hand and slashed out, splitting all the flames in the sky. The man in front of the Fire Qilin was also split into 2. The other 2 were stunned. They were terrified. You dare to kill our Emperor clan's people? Do you want to die? Who exactly are you? Lin Xian snorted coldly. My name is Lin Wudi. If you are not convinced, come and find me in Fire Qilin Cave. What? You are Lin Wudi? When the other 2 people from the Kirin clan heard this, they were so scared that they fell from the sky. Their faces were filled with fear. This was an existence that had killed the Dragon Prince. With the shadow of a tree and the name of a person, they could not resist at all. Leave quickly. The 2 of them quickly fled, not daring to be arrogant anymore. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He wanted to attack, but at this moment, he stopped, because he realized that the sky had darkened. Had night come? Ignoring the 2 people from the Fire Qilin Cave, Lin Xian turned around. When night came, would the Soul Tower come out? In the open space in front of him, the illusion of a pagoda indeed appeared. It was incomparably dark and mysterious. It gradually solidified. There really was. Murong Qingsheng and the others were surprised. This place was really strange. During the day, their souls couldn't detect it, but when night came, the Soul Tower would come out. They finally found it. A smile appeared on Lin Xian's face. He stood with his hands behind his back and waited quietly. At this moment, the Soul Tower had not completely solidified. After waiting for about half an hour, the sun had completely set. The surroundings turned into night. A cloud of fog flew out from the Soul Tower and spread in all directions. At the same time, blood-red eyes flickered. These should be the soul-devouring beasts. After they came out, they should have flown in all directions to capture souls. But this time, they were stunned, because they realized that there were 4 figures near them. Buzz. One of the soul-devouring beasts was very fast. It turned into lightning and flew towards Lin Xian and the others. In an instant, it arrived in front of Lin Xian and the others. The black fog enveloped them. At this moment, Lin Xian slashed out with his sword. The biting cold sword light sent the other party flying. With a roar, the black figure flew backward. Damn it! Who are you? The voice was abnormally low, making one's scalp tingle. Lin Xian snorted coldly. It could still speak, so it seemed to be a living creature. Pretending to be mysterious, hand over the souls of my companions and tell me the secret of the Soul Tower. I can spare your lives. The soul-devouring beast in front was stunned. What did the other party say? Was the other party threatening him? He didn't know what was good for him. He let out a shrill cry, and immediately, the surrounding soul-eaters flew out. They enveloped Lin Xian and the others. Pairs of blood-red eyes stared at them, making Purple Star's hair stand on end. Murong Qingsheng and the others also frowned. Stupid humans, how dare you provoke us? These people's souls are very powerful. Capture them and seize their souls. We will be heavily rewarded. They laughed sinisterly. Then, a few figures pounced over. Purple Star roared angrily. Get lost. He struck out with a palm, and the palm was incomparably vast as it struck towards the soul-devouring beast. However, it was useless. The soul-devouring beast was invisible and directly passed through the palm of stars. It pounced on Purple Star. Purple Star was stunned. Previously, he saw Lin Xian easily send the other party flying with a sword. He thought that the soul-devouring beast was not a big deal, but now it seemed that was not the case. The soul-devouring beast was very strange. In the next moment, he felt that his soul was threatened, as if it was about to leave his body. Chapter 52-57. It was the same for Morong Qingqing and Yin Ruyu. Their divine abilities were all easily dodged by the other party. Their souls were also threatened. Yin Ruyu snorted coldly, and the phantom of a green lotus appeared behind her. A terrifying aura spread out and froze heaven and earth. At the same time, it protected her soul. On Morong Qingqing's side, a seven-colored light surrounded her soul and turned into a seven-colored phoenix that soared into the sky. They all blocked this threat. Zixing was also angry, and a purple star appeared between her brows. Morong Qingqing and Yin Ruyu had extraordinary bloodlines, and Zixing was also extraordinary. After all, she was a descendant of the Yuhua immortal dynasty. For a moment, all three of them blocked the attack. This surprised the soul-devouring beasts. These three people's bloodlines were extraordinary. Even if they encountered the top genius, they could easily take away the other party's soul. But this time, something unexpected happened. At this moment, someone was staring at Lin Xian. Kill. They felt that Lin Xian didn't have any special bloodline, so they quickly charged over. Lin Xian sneered. Idiots! With a wave of his hand, a dragon-shaped sword energy flew out and instantly split heaven and earth. The two soul-devouring beasts screamed as they were split in half. Damn it, what's going on? He can actually hurt us. The two soul-devouring beasts were stunned. One had to know that they couldn't snatch Yin Ruyu's soul, but the other party couldn't hurt them. But this young man in front of them was too strange. He could injure them at first sight. They couldn't get close to him at all, let alone snatch his soul. Since you don't want to say anything, I'll take your souls. Lin Xian's eyes erupted with a golden light that surrounded all directions. At this moment, the heavenly secret divine eyes opened. How laughable. You want to take our souls? The soul-devouring beast sneered. Who could suppress them in terms of souls? These people were disdainful. However, when they saw the golden light of reincarnation, their souls changed. They trembled and were sent flying one by one. There was even a black mist coming out of their bodies. Damn it, what is this? The power of reincarnation. His eyes are so magical. Countless cries of surprise rang out. At this moment, they seemed to have encountered their nemesis. Damn it, these soul-devouring beasts had all gone crazy. At night, they were like gods, and no one could resist them. Even a young magnate like Yunyu had been captured by them, let alone the others. But now, this kid in front of him was too strange. Not only could it hurt them, that pair of eyes was enough to threaten them. For a moment, they roared madly. There were also some soul-devouring beasts in the ancient Soul Pagoda. These beasts seemed to be of a higher level. The red light in their eyes formed a mysterious pattern. One of them, a tall soul-devouring beast, said coldly, "What was going on outside? Why was it so noisy?" Another soul-devouring beast floated over and said, "Reporting to the elder, there seemed to be a few humans nearby." Humans came here? He didn't know what death was. Did they think that they were strong enough to come here and behave atrociously? Activate the surrounding formations to suppress them and seize their souls. Elder, don't worry, I know what to do. The other soul-devouring beasts formed hand seals. Suddenly, the void around them shook, and the Soul Pagoda shone brightly. Countless black chains flew out from within, blotting out the sky and covering the earth. It flew into the distance like a black dragon. Outside, Morong Qingqing and the others were also stunned. They felt a huge aura fill the air. In the next moment, they saw those chains rushing towards them. Not good. Someone attacked them again. They shouted angrily and used their ultimate skills to block these chains. An earth-shattering sound was heard. A great battle broke out. Those chains were very mysterious. Even if they were attacked by Morong Qingqing and the others, they would not be damaged. They were just shaken. At this moment, another soul-devouring beast walked out. He held a walking stick in his hand and shouted coldly. A mere human dared to behave atrociously here. Kneel down and submit. As his voice fell, these black chains became even more terrifying. They directly attacked the soul. They wanted to seal the soul. This terrifying scene made Zixing and the others feel as if they were facing a great enemy. Yin Ruyu and the others danced with their divine abilities, but they were still suppressed. It was too terrifying. As expected of something left behind by the Yuhua immortal dynasty. It was a threat to these people. The others would definitely die. What should they do? Should they retreat? Zixing gritted her teeth and said. Murong Qingqing shook her head. She listened to Brother Xian. She knew that Lin Xian had many trump cards. He should not have used all of them yet. Lin Gongzi, why don't we retreat first and think of a way later? Zixing gritted her teeth and said. He felt that he could not hold on for too long. The way he saw it, Lin Xian might be strong, but he would definitely die if he went up against such a strange ancient soul tower. There was no choice. He had to save Yunyue's soul today. Facing such an attack, Lin Xian was not afraid at all. He formed a seal with his palms, and the golden light in his eyes became even more resplendent. At the same time, a pair of eyes formed in the sky, looking down. As soon as this pair of golden eyes appeared, countless gazes descended. Then, they landed on the black chains. The black chains shook violently. It was as if they had encountered a raging fire and were about to be melted. What was this? This flame was too strange. The surrounding soul-devouring beasts were shocked. Some people said that it was fine. Their chains were made of extremely precious metal. A brat like him would definitely not be able to break it. As soon as they finished speaking, there were cracking sounds around them. Hundreds of chains were burned and broken. How was this possible? The soul-devouring beasts were dumbfounded. They looked as if they had seen a ghost. They knew the power of the chains. Because of this, they were extremely confident. But now, the other party had broken it so easily. This guy's strength was too terrifying. Damn it. The soul-devouring beast with a walking stick in the soul tower was even more shocked. The black chains were made of extremely precious metal. Even they did not have any extra. Now that the chains were broken, it made his heart bleed. Damn it. Attack him. The black chains continuously swayed, forming a peerless great formation that shot into the sky. It wanted to suppress that eye. In an instant, the reincarnation fire that erupted from the heavenly secret divine eye became even more terrifying. There were even reincarnation mountains that descended and bombarded the chain array. The battle between the two sides was unusually intense. The soul-devouring beast looked at the golden eye in shock. Why did this eye look so much like the legendary one? But it should not have appeared. Just as it was thinking, Lin Xian shot out sword chi again. The huge sword slashed down from the sky, directly shattering hundreds of chains. No. The soul-devouring beast with a walking stick roared crazily. The other party still had a trump card. He shouted angrily and retreated, closing the soul tower. Today, they had met their nemesis. Let's close the soul tower first. The surrounding soul-devouring beasts were shocked. Closing the soul tower? Did this mean that they had lost? How was this possible? How could a young brat be so terrifying? Although they were unwilling, the scene in front of them still shocked them. They retreated and entered the soul tower. You want to hide? Lin Xian snorted coldly, took a step forward, and charged toward the soul tower. Chapter 52-58. How dare you? How dare you attack? Seeing the other party charging over, the elder in the Chaos Tower roared angrily and waved his walking stick. Suddenly, 8 pearls appeared around him. These were soul-devouring pearls. 8 pearls could suppress everything. Hee, let's see how you die. The surrounding soul-devouring beasts sneered. As soon as the soul pearls appeared, Zixing and the others also felt that their souls were greatly suppressed. Lin Gongzi, be careful, he exclaimed to warn him. Lin Xian, on the other hand, pressed forward. The Hellfire Dragon sword appeared in his hand and slashed around. The sword slashed on one of the soul pearls. You want to go against the soul pearls? What a joke. The elders sneered. The soul pearls directly suppressed the soul. The other party's attacks couldn't be launched at all. Just wait, the other party will definitely die in the next moment. But in the next moment, the smile on his face disappeared. There was a cracking sound in front of him. Lin Xian's sword slashed on the soul pearls. The soul pearls were split in half. How is this possible? How did you split them? The elder was shocked. However, there was something else that shocked him even more. The next 7 soul pearls were all split by Lin Xian. Lin Xian was like a sword god sweeping in all directions. Wherever the sword went, it was unparalleled. It was too terrifying. This sword technique was like a divine sword. There was nothing in the world that could block it, especially the last sword. It even split heaven and earth. The 8 soul pearls scattered on the ground. Puff. The elder with the walking stick spat out a mouthful of blood. He fell from the sky. His face was pale, and he couldn't believe it. Who was this young man? The other soul-devouring beasts were also frightened. They quickly retreated and gathered. Even their elder was defeated. Who could defeat him? Elder, are you okay? They came to the front and asked nervously. The elder stood up with the help of his walking stick. His body was swaying. Retreat quickly. The group quickly retreated into the soul tower. Lin Xian was still striding forward. Murong Qingsheng and the others quickly followed behind. The group was very fast. Zixing was stunned. He had never seen such a sword technique before. It was far beyond his imagination. It seemed like Lin Xian was the bane of the ancient soul towers. Lin Xian and the others walked in. Inside the ancient soul pagoda, countless spiritual auras appeared and charged towards Lin Xian. There were even 2 elders who quickly launched sneak attacks to kill him. In the end, he was sent flying by Lin Xian's sword strikes and coughed up large amounts of blood. The 3 great elders were stupefied. Damn it, they actually couldn't do anything to him. Activating the 72 soul swords. The 3 elders roared furiously, taking out their most powerful trump cards. The sound of a battle resounded between heaven and earth. The small pagoda in the sky descended from the sky like an ancient divine mountain, bringing with it terrifying heavenly might. Not good. Zixing and the others were in despair. Lin Xian shouted coldly and rushed up. A black jar appeared in his hand, and he slapped it at the small pagoda in the sky. The 2 collided, but there was no sound. Instead, the surrounding sounds disappeared. A strange scene appeared. The terrifying small pagoda was directly swallowed by the black jar. A vortex in the sky spun non-stop, as if it could devour everything. What happened? The 3 elders and the soul-devouring beasts were stunned. They looked up at the sky in disbelief. The second most powerful expert in their eyes, the pagoda spirit, disappeared in an instant. Could it be that he was killed in a single move? This was the hope in their hearts. They couldn't block the other party's attack. They were in despair. Had a young god of heaven arrived? Why? Why was there such a terrifying person? Lin Xian landed with the heaven, swallowing jar in his hand, and snorted coldly. What other tricks do you have? The surrounding people trembled in fear and didn't dare to respond. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Let me ask you, where are the souls that you suppressed? Is there a woman named Yunyu? Yunyu? The 3 elders were stunned. Young master, we collect many souls every day. Which one are you talking about? Last night, the soul that you suppressed had the strength of a young giant, the emperor's son. Such a soul is rare, right? The 3 elders were stunned. It's her. They remembered that they had indeed brought back a magical soul yesterday. They knelt on the ground. The young giant's soul was personally suppressed by the pagoda master. It wasn't here. It wasn't here? Lin Xian frowned. Do you want to die? His body emitted a terrifying killing intent. At the same time, a black vortex appeared. The surrounding soul-devouring beasts were terrified. This vortex could even swallow their pagoda spirit. Not to mention them. The 3 elders kept kowtowing. Young master, please spare us. We don't dare to hide anything. The pagoda master brought that soul to the abyss of souls. Chapter 52-59. Abyss of Souls? What was that place? Lin Xian frowned. He activated his heavenly secret god eye and searched the soul tower thoroughly. Indeed, he did not find Yunyue's soul. The Abyss of Souls was an abyss, a sacred place for souls. It was very mysterious. All 36 soul towers belong to the Abyss of Souls. This time, our pagoda master was ordered to go to the Abyss of Souls. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes when he heard that. It should be an existence even more terrifying than the Soul Tower. But why did he want Yunyue's soul? As the arch-level genius, Yunyue's soul was very terrifying. Perhaps it had some special use. Thinking of this, he snorted coldly. Tell me the location of the Abyss of Souls. After Lin Xian received the information, he snorted coldly and looked in all directions. The purpose of your soul tower is to increase souls, right? Why do you collect so many souls? Is there a cultivation method? Tell me. If you can improve our souls, I might spare your lives. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. The three elders were so scared that their faces turned pale. We naturally don't dare to hide anything from young master. However, everything is decided by the pagoda spirit and the pagoda master. Now that the pagoda spirit has disappeared, there's nothing we can do. You're talking about this, right? Lin Xian snorted coldly and waved his sleeve. A vortex appeared and suppressed a small tower. The pagoda spirit, the three elders exclaimed. Lin Xian snorted. Obediently tell me the cultivation method, or you'll fall into hell forever. Damn it! The pagoda spirit roared crazily. Extreme weapon, you're from the arch race. The other soul-devouring beasts were also terrified. No wonder their pagoda spirit was suppressed. It was an extreme weapon. These people were definitely not to be trifled with. Lin Xian sneered. It was good that they knew. Next, they obtained the method to cultivate their souls. The few of them sat under the soul pillars and began to cultivate. The power of the entire soul tower gathered and enveloped everyone. After a day, Lin Xian and the others opened their eyes and stood up. Lin Xian roared, and the entire soul tower shook violently. Great! He could feel that his soul had been upgraded. The golden light in his eyes became deeper, and he was very close to the Rinnegan. However, it was still not enough. Morong Qingqing, Yin Ruyu, and Zi Xing were also overjoyed. Their souls had also been strengthened. Furthermore, it was a great improvement. Great, as expected of the celestial land. In just one night, they had undergone earth-shattering changes. Was there any power left? Give it to me. Lin Xian and Long He harumphed. The pagoda spirit was about to cry. There's nothing left. We've been collecting energy for thousands of years, but you've used it all up in a single day. His heart was bleeding. If the pagoda master were to return, how would they explain themselves? Elder brother Xian, don't they have 36 soul towers? We can go somewhere else? Morong Qingcheng said. Yin Ruyu also said that it was better to go directly to the Abyss of Souls. There should be even more powerful soul energy there. That's right. Lin Xian nodded and headed towards the Abyss of Souls. Firstly, he could continue to save Yunyue. Secondly, he hoped to obtain more power. Let his eyes evolve into Rinnegan. I can spare your lives, but you won't be able to get out for a long time. Lin Xian waved his hand and swallowed the entire soul tower with the whirlpool formed by the heaven-swallowing jar. After I'm done with my business, I'll let you out. Thank you for not killing us. Those soul-devouring beasts kept kowtowing. They didn't dare to resist at all. Lin Xian and the others flew towards the Abyss of Souls according to the information they received. After flying for about a day, they arrived at the Abyss of Souls. The Abyss of Souls was indeed an abyssal canyon. It was abnormally mysterious. When one's soul entered, it was as if it had entered a quagmire. Go! The few of them jumped down. As soon as they entered, angry shouts came from the black clouds. They stopped. A few souls appeared in front of them, blocking their way. Who are you? How dare you barge into the Abyss of Souls? How bold! Don't you know the rules of the Abyss of Souls? Only souls could enter here. Otherwise, they would be killed without mercy. They could see that Lin Xian and the others had come in with their main bodies, so they stopped them. How dare you stop me? Lin Xian snorted coldly. Golden light flickered in his eyes. The power of reincarnation charged forward. Cracks appeared on the bodies of the souls in front. No, what kind of power was this? The other party could kill them instantly with a glance. Senior, please spare our lives. They hurriedly kowtowed. We didn't know that Senior was coming. Please forgive us. Can my main body enter now? Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back and asked coldly. Of course, he could. The few spirits nodded their heads continuously and made way for him. Lin Xian sneered and walked in. It wasn't until Lin Xian and the others disappeared that the souls heaved a sigh of relief. Was that the eye of a god? Why was it so terrifying? I feel like he could kill us with a glance. Which soul tower is he from? Why haven't we seen him before? You don't want to live anymore. How dare you inquire about his identity? He's not an existence we can understand. These people were terrified. They didn't dare to take revenge. As for breaking the rules, they didn't care because these rules were prepared for the weak. The strong should sweep through everything and ignore everything. Lin Xian and the others descended into the depths of the abyss of souls. Murong Qingqing looked around and said, "What a strange aura. They were all souls." Yin Ruyu was also happy. In this place, they could definitely find the power to enhance their souls. Lin Xian used his soul as he descended. His golden eyes shrouded the surroundings. He began to search for Yun Yu's soul, but he didn't find it. However, he found that the souls below were very powerful. They were definitely at the level of a great sage. Some were even more terrifying. Among them, he found a man in a black robe. The aura of the other party was very similar to the soul tower he was in previously. Lin Xian guessed that this should be the pagoda master. Thinking of this, he snorted. If he found the pagoda master, he would know Yun Yu's whereabouts. Thinking of this, he increased his speed. The bottom of the abyss was incomparably vast. It was shocking. The terrain here was like a gourd. It was narrow in the middle, but wide at the bottom. Lin Xian and the others descended, naturally attracting the attention of others. Those who could come here were all soul experts. When they saw Lin Xian and the others come with their true bodies, they were naturally surprised. Immediately, countless gazes fell on these people. Purple Star felt his scalp tingle. Although he was a young tycoon, those who could come here were no weaklings. For a moment, they were facing a great enemy. Which soul tower were these young people from? They didn't follow the rules and dared to come with their true bodies? I think they don't know what's good for them. These two women were not bad. They stared at Murong Qingqing and Yin Ruyu. A few more soul experts came out, but they were all defeated. Some of them were even killed. The others were horrified. This was a young giant. Moreover, there were 3 young giants. It was too terrifying. Why would these people come here? They were all shocked, and no one dared to make another move. Lin Xian did not attack. There was no need for him to do anything here. He walked towards the mansion in front of him. The others were horrified. It couldn't be, right? This guy wanted to go inside? The people inside were all top-notch soul experts. They were all pagoda masters. No matter how strong they would definitely die if they went in. These people must be crazy. In front of them, the mansion was indeed the core area. Even the soul experts outside were not qualified to enter. Those who could enter were all pagoda masters. Inside the mansion, there were 12 thrones that surrounded a plaza. There was a figure sitting on each throne. They were all soul bodies. However, they were abnormally terrifying. The auras on them were as deep as the sea, as if they could suppress everything. Each of them could kill tens of millions of souls with a single move. These people had different expressions. Some were old, some were young. Some were beautiful women. However, sitting in the center was a woman. A young woman. This woman was also a soul body. Her face was beautiful, but her eyes were empty. The soul aura on her body was abnormally powerful. This caused the other 11 pagoda masters to exclaim in admiration. Soul Princess, your aura has become stronger than before. Your strength is even stronger than those imperial princes outside. I think if this continues, your soul will enter its peak state. You are invincible. It was truly a joyous occasion for a peerless expert like the princess to appear in the abyss of souls. After hearing this, the beautiful woman's lips curled into a smile. She was the young master of the abyss of souls. She was also a young top-notch expert. Pagoda masters, you are too kind. I still have a long way to go in the cultivation of the soul path. Compared to my grandfather, I am still far behind. However, I am very happy this time. Sixth Pagoda Master, thank you for bringing back the soul of a young powerhouse. Furthermore, it's a soul with dual powers. If I can completely absorb it, if I can fully absorb it, my soul path will reach another level. After saying this, the soul path princess's lips curled up. She was truly happy. At this moment, a middle-aged man on the sixth throne stood up and said with a smile, "It's good that the princess is happy." He was the palace master of the sixth soul palace. Previously, he was the one who suppressed Yunyue's soul. Now, he had given it to the princess to please her. If the princess broke through this time, her strength would be too strong. Those imperial princes could not be compared to her. The other pagoda masters also laughed. In front of them, the soul path princess snorted coldly. What are those imperial princes? Do they think they can be high and mighty just because they have the imperial bloodline? I will trample them under my feet. However, I heard that there are two people who are very terrifying. Are you talking about the Double Crown King, Huntion? He is from the Chaotic clan and is indeed very strong. The Double Crown King is above the imperial princes, one of the elders said. Another man said, the other person should be Lin Wudi. He was the only one who had made it onto the sovereign list. These two people were indeed extraordinary. After hearing this, the Soul Path Princess took a deep breath. She clenched her jade-like hands and said, I know them. Of course, I know these two people. I will definitely surpass them. Her eyes were filled with strong confidence. At the end of her sentence, she stood up. Lin Wudi? Does he deserve to be on the sovereign list? That's because I didn't make a move. If I did, only I can be on the sovereign list. At this point, a powerful soul aura emanated from her body, forming a terrifying soul vortex. The surrounding pagoda masters were also shocked. The princess's strength had increased again. They all congratulated her. However, at this moment, a rumbling sound came from afar. Following that, the mansion's door shattered, and a large spatial crack appeared in the array. It spread from afar like 10,000 bolts of lightning. The surrounding people's expressions changed. What's going on? Who dares to behave atrociously here? The surrounding pagoda masters were all stunned. For a moment, they did not react. Soon, someone stood up. What's going on? Who dares to disturb us? Do they have a death wish? Chapter 5261. A cold snort was heard. However, the world was silent and no one responded. A few figures walked out from the crack. At the front was a man in black robes and strolling leisurely. He looked like an immortal. Beside him were two beautiful women who looked like fairies from the 9 heavens. Beside them was a man in a starry battle robe. The four of them were extraordinarily powerful. Who are you? Do you know where you are? Someone shouted angrily. Another old man snorted and said, Go to hell. A cold light appeared in the old man's eyes and turned into a divine sword that slashed down from the sky. It was a powerful ocular technique. When the old man used it, it was extremely terrifying. The old man had an extraordinary background. He was the 8th Pagoda Master. He was extremely powerful and was an extremely terrifying existence among the saints. In addition, he used an ocular technique called spiritual sword. It was enough to pierce the soul of an expert of the same level and make them suffer a fate worse than death. The sword light attacked Murong Qingqing. Murong Qingqing snorted coldly. He formed a phoenix seal and attacked the spiritual sword ocular technique. There was a thunderous sound. The surrounding void continued to shatter. This attack was evenly matched. The spiritual sword ocular technique was repelled and Murong Qingqing retracted his palm. He actually blocked it. The 8th Pagoda Master was shocked and in disbelief. The people around him were also shocked. They knew how terrifying the old man's strength was. It was strange that he was blocked by a young woman. It seemed that their strength was not ordinary. Let's attack together and take him down. Another middle-aged woman stood up. The others also looked coldly at Murong Qingqing and the others. Their eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Lin Xian walked out and looked ahead. The sixth pagoda master? He said coldly. 2 days ago, you suppressed the soul of a woman called Yunyu. Hand over her soul, and I'll give you a quick death. The sixth pagoda master's pupil shrank. Yunyu? Although he did not know who she was, it seemed to be the soul that he gave to the Soul Path Princess. He snorted and stood up suddenly. How bold. Is there a place for you to be so presumptuous in the abyss of souls? Still not kneeling? Brat, are you ignoring me? The elder who had attacked earlier, the tower master of the 8th chaotic tower, was furious. Was the other party looking down on him? Go to hell. In the sky, a pair of eyes appeared, turning into the terrifying eyes of a deity. Millions of spiritual swords emerged from them. The power of this attack was much stronger than the previous ones. The old man roared. The other pagoda masters also snorted coldly. They were all peerless experts, and a few youngsters wanted to behave atrociously in front of them. He really didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. In the face of such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian's eyes also shone with a golden light. Then, the power of reincarnation formed a mountain peak that came crashing down. It collided with the spiritual sword eye technique. An earth-shattering sound rang out. The tens of thousands of spiritual swords were suppressed by the reincarnation mountain and shattered into pieces. The 8th pagoda master spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. How could this be? He roared. The reincarnation mountain came crashing down on him, shattering his soul into pieces. With a scream, the 8th pagoda master's soul was destroyed. When the others saw this scene, they all sucked in a breath of cold air. Dead? Impossible. The 8th pagoda master was an expert and had a terrifying eye technique. But now, he was killed in a single move. Who was that kid? Golden eyes. What kind of eye technique was that? They were extremely shocked. You also wanted to attack just now? Lin Xian turned to look at the other woman. That middle-aged woman was the 9th chaotic tower master. When she felt Lin Xian's gaze, her body trembled and she took 2 steps back. Lin Xian sneered. Trash. What did you say? The 9th pagoda master roared. Although the other party was strange, he really couldn't stand it. A dazzling light appeared in his hand, dazzling everyone's eyes. It was the soul-snatching technique. He could snatch away a person's soul with a single palm. His strength was in no way inferior to that old man from before. The soul-snatching hand made Zixing and the others feel as if they were facing a great enemy. However, Lin Xian snorted coldly. The golden light in his eyes was even more terrifying. Soul Dao Fire. Endless soul flames flew out and charged towards the soul-snatching hand. The 2 sides collided intensely. Were they evenly matched? Countless people were shocked. Suddenly, there was a cracking sound as the 9 heavens shattered. Cracks appeared on the soul-snatching hand, and it was charred black. No way. The 9th pagoda master was also defeated? They were shocked. The 9th pagoda master retracted his palm, and his expression became ugly. Damn it. However, at this moment, his pupils constricted. Lin Xian waved his hand. Demon God Finger. On his finger, there was a shocking demonic chi that pierced through heaven and earth. This finger was like a demon descending and directly piercing through the 9th pagoda master's forehead. Puff. The 9th pagoda master's head shattered, and he fell into a pool of blood. Another one died. The surrounding people went crazy. In the blink of an eye, 2 pagoda masters died. This made them feel like they were dreaming. They couldn't believe it at all. Who was this young man? He was too terrifying. His golden eyes were obviously an extremely terrifying eye technique. Not only that, but that finger just now was a top-tier lost art. This person's physique and soul were very powerful. Who was he? These people began to recall. On the path of martial arts, one either cultivated the physique, the law of divine powers, or the soul. However, they had never heard of anyone who was powerful. Even the princess was frowning. She looked at the 6th pagoda master. Do you know who he is? The 6th pagoda master took a deep breath. It should be the woman I brought, her companion. At this point, the 6th pagoda master also took a deep breath. Tell me your name. Do you know that this is the abyss of souls, not a place where you can behave atrociously? Behave atrociously? Humph, Lin Xian snorted coldly. So what if I behave atrociously? Hand over my companion's soul, or I'll let you die without a burial place. You're courting death. The sixth pagoda master also shouted angrily. He waved his sleeve, and an evil spirit with a green face and fangs shot out. It was formed from the condensation of 10 million souls. It was terrifying to the extreme. It specialized in devouring the souls of others. When the evil spirit arrived in front of Lin Xian, it was shattered by Lin Xian's finger. It was an insignificant skill. I'll give you one last chance. Where is Yun Yu's soul? Lin Xian's voice was cold. Damn it, he had gone too far. The sixth pagoda master shouted angrily and stretched out his hands. 9 chains flew out from his sleeves, carrying the extremely strange law of the soul. These 9 chains instantly enveloped Lin Xian. He laughed and said, "Suppress me." The sixth pagoda master was happy. His 9 chains came from the evil spirit of hell and contained an endless aura of destruction. No one who was locked by these chains had ever been able to come out alive. Today, the other party would undoubtedly die. It was over. The other pagoda masters also laughed. The other party was still young. Chapter 52-62. Feeling the power of the chains, Lin Xian shouted coldly and released his 9 yang divine body. The terrifying yang flames began to burn the other party's chains. The 9 chains shook violently and then broke apart. Lin Xian punched forward and forced the 6th pagoda leader back. The 6th pagoda leader spat out a mouthful of blood, and his face was filled with shock. Who are you? This guy's physique is too terrifying. The others were shocked too. What terrifying flames! What a strong physique! Could he be? Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back and looked around. I am Lin Wudi. What? Lin Wudi. It's really him. Heavens, this should be the 9 yang divine body. It's so similar to the legends. No wonder he could break the chains. Exclamations could be heard one after another. They had heard of this name before. He was on the supreme leaderboard. They didn't expect him to come here. The 6th pagoda leader's pupils constricted. Lin Wudi was a tough guy to deal with. They had talked about him before. They didn't expect to meet him now. At the same time, he was shocked. He had captured Lin Wudi's friend. Damn it. Lin Xian's voice was cold. He looked forward and said, "Accept your punishment." The 6th pagoda leader scoffed. You're too arrogant. We have so many people here. Can you really beat us? Lin Xian shook his head. I gave you 2 chances, and you didn't cherish them. You can go to hell and repent now. He was like a sun god. Everywhere he went, he burned the 9 heavens. The 6th pagoda leader was shocked by Lin Xian's aura. He was so scared that he broke out in cold sweat and kept retreating. He knew that he was embarrassed. His eyes were red and he roared. Damn kid, don't be arrogant. So what if she's your friend? I've already given her to a princess. Her fate is to be absorbed as energy for us to use. No matter how strong you are, can you change your fate? Ha ha ha. Arrogant laughter could be heard. Lin Xian's face turned cold when he heard that. Yun Yu was his battle servant. There was only one person in the world who could attack her. That was him. Other than him, no one else could do anything to Yun Yu. Now, the other party actually wanted to swallow Yun Yu as energy. Lin Xian was thoroughly enraged. Endless sword qi appeared on his body, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. It was like a giant dragon roaring at the sky. At this moment, the heavenly palace shattered and the earth cracked. The entire abyss of souls shook violently as if it was the end of the world. 6 Dao Fist. Lin Xian punched out. 6 illusory worlds appeared and attacked the 6th pagoda master. The 6th pagoda master roared furiously and did his best to resist. However, under this punch, all of his weapon divine abilities were shattered. The illusions of the 6 worlds suppressed him. Lin Xian looked down from above and stepped on the other's soul. 6 paths reincarnation and heavenly secret divine eyes were activated, forming an illusory world. He began to reincarnate the other party's soul. A miserable voice could be heard. The sixth pagoda master was experiencing a life worse than death. All of you will have to bear my wrath. Lin Xian's voice was cold. The surrounding people were all shocked. They were stupefied. Another pagoda master had fallen. Moreover, his soul was being tortured. This was simply unbelievable. They were all soul experts, but they couldn't compare to a young man in the underworld. The sixth pagoda master was destroyed. Lin Xian turned around and stared at the woman at the front. You're the princess who got here? Hand over Yunyue's soul. Then kneel at the side and wait for me to deal with you. You're courting death. You're too arrogant. You got the princess to roar crazily. This was her territory, but the other party wanted her to teach someone a lesson and even made her kneel. She couldn't tolerate it. Everyone, attack. Whoever kills him will die. I'll reward you heavily. As soon as she finished speaking, she screamed because Lin Xian slashed at her. Dragon-shaped sword Qi slashed down from the sky. The Soul Dao princess tried her best to dodge, but she was still hit. A crack appeared on her soul. She screamed miserably. Hurry up and attack. The remaining 8 tower masters of the mixed towers also roared. Die. The 11th pagoda master was a burly man. He was like a giant, and his body was surrounded by soul lightning that shook the surroundings. He punched out with a vast power that could destroy everything. The 5th pagoda master sneered. He held a killing sword in his hand that carried an extremely strong soul law. He stabbed at Lin Xian's soul. The 3rd pagoda master formed a soul fire that burned fiercely. The remaining pagoda masters used their own methods. They were extremely powerful. Lin Xian, on the other hand, used the shadowless heaven's net. His silhouette disappeared in an instant, shuttling back and forth continuously. He dodged these attacks. At the same time, he used the Azura sword technique. This was a killing sword that matched the power of the great dragon sword spirit. It had an unparalleled power that could kill with one strike. Pooh! Like a flying immortal, the 4th pagoda master's head flew up. He screamed miserably. Another sword that seemed to have come from hell pierced through the 3rd pagoda master. The 3rd pagoda master screamed. Damn it! This was a terrifying killing technique. He was a top-notch killer. Someone shouted angrily. The 1st pagoda master snorted. So what? He can't hide under our souls. His soul reached the heavens. Terrifying light rushed out from the top of these people's heads, forming a sky curtain that enveloped the entire space. With such a soul technique, no matter how well the other party hid, they could still find him. But this time, they found that there was no one. With a poochie sound, a sword came from the west and cut off the 1st pagoda master's arm. The 1st pagoda master roared. He turned around and attacked, but found that the enemy had already disappeared. Not good. He is also a soul expert. He can block our detection. Cold shouts sounded one after another. The other party's methods were too strange. They couldn't block such a killing technique. Sure enough, the pagoda masters fell one after another. In the end, only 2 were left. The 1st pagoda master and the 2nd pagoda master. The 2 of them were considered to be the strongest, but they were also injured at this moment. As for the others, they were all killed. Lin Xian's figure appeared. The hell sword in his hand dripped with blood. Killing intent still surrounded him. What kind of sword technique is this? My body can't heal. The 1st pagoda master was terrified. The other party's sword was too cold. At their level, they could be reborn with just a drop of blood. But after being hit by the other party's sword, it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Their strength was greatly reduced. Lin Xian's aura changed into a terrifying demonic aura. The demonic god seal rushed forward. The 2nd pagoda master was smashed into pieces. Run! The 1st pagoda master roared and turned around to escape. Even the princess retreated. Quick! Inform my grandfather and tell him, before he could finish, he was sent flying by the sword. At the same time, the 1st pagoda master fled into the distance. At this time, he found that 2 women were facing him. Die! Lin Wudi was powerful, but could these 2 women be heaven-defying? He slapped out with both palms and attacked. But soon, he regretted it, because the strength of the 2 women in front of him was beyond his imagination. Chapter 52-63. A green lotus could suppress heaven and earth. A seven-colored phoenix could sweep through the nine heavens. Yin Ruyu's and Morong Qingqing's bloodlines and abilities were extremely frightening. It was not something the other party could imagine. Therefore, when they stood up, the first pagoda master was instantly pushed back. Damn it! He roared crazily. He did not expect that other than Lin Xian. The people around him were also so terrifying. Lin Xian looked at the Chaos Path's princess and said coldly, "Hand her over." The princess snorted coldly, and her expression became extremely ugly. Previously, she did not take Lin Xian seriously. She thought that he was only lucky to be on the supreme leaderboard. If Lin Xian encountered her, he would have no chance of winning. Now that she had met him, the princess felt even more pressured. However, she was a top-notch expert after all. With her strength, she definitely dared to compete with Lin Xian. In the next moment, he roared angrily and rushed over. The souls in the world rumbled, and everyone felt their hair stand on end. They did not expect that woman to be so terrifying. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Golden lightning flashed in his eyes, and he rushed out like an unparalleled god of war. The two collided, and the void kept shattering. In the blink of an eye, 10 moves had passed. The princess was pushed back. Her blood was boiling, and her expression was gloomy. Lin Xian was also surprised. "I didn't expect you to be so strong. You are indeed qualified to be my opponent. Unfortunately, you've already angered me. If you don't hand her over, I won't let you off." Lin Xian roared. His long sword flickered with an even more terrifying killing intent. He slashed out with his sword. It was incomparably sharp, and it was about to shatter the 9 heavens. The Chaos Path Princess felt a great threat. A terrifying light burst out from her eyes. Abyss of Souls. With a furious roar, a canyon appeared behind her. It carried a supreme aura and charged forward. The canyon enveloped heaven and earth. Killing intent emerged and covered Lin Xian's longsword. "It's useless. This is my territory. I can mobilize unlimited power. You are not my opponent at all. Suppress me." The canyon was incomparably terrifying, and it gradually began to suppress the void. Morong Qingqing and the others also felt a wave of pressure, as if their powers were being restricted. Lin Xian was the first to bear the brunt. He could also feel it. However, he didn't care. He snorted coldly. What could mere pressure do to him? He took a step forward. His golden foot shattered everything. His divine body was simply too domineering at this moment. Although the pressure here was small, it couldn't compare to the sword and the world. He swung his sword 3 times in a row, splitting the canyon in half. The princess was sent flying while coughing up blood. Demon Godfinger. Lin Xian shot out like a black bolt of lightning. The demonic god seal caused the half-blood princess to vomit blood. The soul of the Soul Dao princess was almost shattered. She raised her head and roared. Damn it, the other party was actually stronger than her. Even though she had taken out the local advantage, she still couldn't beat her opponent. She turned around and fled as well. How could this be? When First Pagoda Master sensed this scene, his eyes almost popped out. That was the half-blood princess, an existence that even they had to admire. But now, she was defeated by Lin Xian. Was this Lin Wuti already so terrifying? Damn it, how could this be? He trembled in fear. Lin Xian snorted coldly and chased after her again with the demon god wings. The Azura sword was an extremely powerful killing sword. Combined with the power of the dragon sword soul, it formed a peerless killing sword. It directly pierced through the body of the half-blood princess. The half-blood princess was severely injured, and her body fell. Seeing that the black seal was about to shatter her, she went crazy. At this moment, she finally went crazy. An extremely terrifying rune suddenly appeared between her eyebrows and shot into the sky. In the next moment, she turned into an illusion and roared at the sky. "Who dares to touch my granddaughter?" It was the illusion of an old man. His eyes were as cold as a blade. As soon as he appeared, he shattered everything. "Grandpa, save me." The half-blood princess let out an unwilling roar. That was the trump card that her grandpa left in her body to save her life. She did not expect it to come in handy. It meant that she had been completely defeated. She was unwilling to accept this. The first pagoda master was also shocked. Was she defeated? But soon, he snorted coldly. So what if she was defeated? Even the illusion of Ancestor Yuan had appeared. It could definitely defeat everything. At least they could leave safely. Old man, you want to protect her? Lin Xian looked at the illusion and said coldly. The illusion also stared at Lin Xian. Who are you? How dare you injure my granddaughter? Kneel down and accept your death. Lin Xian sneered. Your granddaughter deserves to die. She suppressed my friend's soul and wanted to devour it as energy. Shouldn't I kill her? If you want to protect her, I'll kill you too. Idiot. It's your friend's fortune that my granddaughter has taken a fancy to him. If my granddaughter wants something, you have to kneel down and accept it, let alone friends. How dare you resist? Go to hell. The old man slapped over. The terrifying aura that covered the sky made one's hair stand on end. Boom, boom, boom. Lin Xian used his terrifying fists to resist, but he was forced to retreat. At the same time, a golden light appeared in his eyes, forming the reincarnation mountain in front of him. He blocked the attack. Who are you, young man? The old man's illusion shouted angrily. It was shocking that the other party could block his attack and not die. Fine. I'll let you die with understanding. I'm Lin Wudi. You can go to hell now. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a terrifying light. In the next moment, a dragon-shaped sword appeared and was held by him. He slashed forward. Slash. Nothing could stop the slash that could split heaven and earth. The old man's illusion was shocked. You're courting death. He threw out both palms, but he still couldn't block it. Under the slash, he was split apart and disappeared into thin air. Roar. How dare you hurt my granddaughter? I'll tear you into pieces. The last voice sounded and then disappeared. Lin Xian sneered. He didn't care at all. Once again, he slashed his sword at the princess. The princess was truly in despair. Even her grandfather's illusion was shattered. Did she have any way to resist? She was split apart by the slash. Blood stained the sky. She had completely died. Was she dead? The first pagoda master was terrified. He couldn't believe it. That was the princess. Now she was dead. What kind of storm would it cause? It's over. These guys are dead for sure. He sped up and fled. In the end, he was killed by Yin Ruyu and Morong Qingqing. At this moment, everyone in the mansion had died. Lin Xian and the others cleaned up the battlefield and collected all the storage rings of these people. These people were all soul experts. Whether it was cultivation methods, pills, or great Tao crystals, they were all related to the soul. It was a great harvest for them. Brother Xian, let's leave quickly. That old man is very powerful. Morong Qingqing and the others were worried, but Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. It's fine. I'll kill them. These resources aren't enough. This time, I'll let my heavenly secret divine eyes break through completely. Chapter 52-64. Lin Xian had a shocking idea, and that was to continue attacking and completely sweep through the abyss of souls. Zixing and the others were dumbstruck after hearing this. That old man was probably in existence at the peak of the great sage realm. No worries, I have a way to kill him. The corner of Lin Xian's mouth raised. If the other party dared to use the power of heaven and earth here to suppress him, then he could also use the power of the sword world to suppress him. With his own strength, he was still unable to contend against the peak of the great sage realm, but if he used the sword world to restrict him, then it was naturally possible. Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand, and the group of them walked out of the hall. The people outside the mansion were still waiting. Terrifying sounds of battle could be heard from inside. Those guys should have been killed. That's for sure. He had 11 pagoda masters inside, and one of them was a princess. With 12 top-notch experts attacking together, those people would not die without a doubt. These people all laughed. However, there were also some people who sighed. It was a pity for these two peerless fairies. Just as they were talking, a few figures suddenly walked out from the mansion in front of them. The surrounding people all quieted down. They became respectful. They should have mixed in with the princess and the others, But when they looked up, they realized that it was not the case. They were not mixed in with the princess and the others, but the few youths who had entered before. How was this possible? They didn't die. These people were dumbstruck, unable to believe it. Someone said, "Could it be that the princess was merciful and spared these people?" "I think it's possible." Lin Xian looked around and sneered. "Your souls to the princess, including the 11 pagoda masters, are all dead. Now, are you going to kneel down and submit, or are you going to the Yellow Springs with them?" "What? Dead?" The surrounding people were all stunned. Someone sneered. "What did you say? Are you dreaming?" "That's right. How could those 12 experts die?" These people did not believe it. They rushed in. However, when they discovered that there were 12 blood seas in the mansion, they were all stunned. They were really dead. 11 pagoda masters, mixed in with the princess, all fell. Not a single one of them was alive. They felt like they had all collapsed. Heavens, this was definitely an earth-shattering event. Oh no, the Abyss of Souls is about to experience a huge storm. They trembled in fear as they looked ahead. Do you know what you've done?" Just as he finished speaking, Lin Xian cleaved that person apart with his sword. "Are you lecturing me?" The others were so scared that they quickly knelt on the ground. "We are willing to submit." They had no choice but to lower their heads now, but they gritted their teeth and refused to accept it. Because they knew that there were even more terrifying existences in the Abyss of Souls. That was the Abyss Master. Only the princess's grandfather was at the peak of the great sage level. The other party's soul was incomparable. It was an existence that stood at the pinnacle. If the other party were to make a move, these people would definitely not be able to withstand it. When these people were defeated, they would go up and tear them into pieces. But now, they had to stop him and make him stay here. If he ran away, the celestial land was very vast. It would not be easy to find him again. A few people came up and said, "Young master, we have many sacred places for cultivating the soul here. Why don't you come over and cultivate for a while?" "Yes, I know a place." These people began to secretly prolong the time. Lin Xian did not seem to know the intentions of these people. He waved his hand and said, "No need. Tell me, where is your Abyss Master? I will kill him, and you should be convinced." "What? This guy wants to find the Abyss Master and kill him? Heavens, he's not joking, right? Why do I feel that this guy is too daring?" The surrounding people went crazy. It seemed that they did not need to stop the other party. This guy would go to the Abyss of Souls himself. Lin Xian snorted coldly. "Tell me where the princess of the soul path lives." He rose into the air and flew towards the distance. That should be the place where Yunyu was suppressed. He hoped that Yunyu was fine. In the depths of the Abyss of Souls, there were several magnificent mansions. There were continuous palaces inside. This was the core area. No one else could enter. Even the pagoda master was not qualified. This was the place where the princess lived. And behind this was an even more terrifying and mysterious place. At this moment, there was a sea of souls, and an old man was sitting cross-legged on it. The old man's body floated. His soul left his body and soared into the 9 heavens. An extremely terrifying soul aura appeared. This power was even more terrifying than the previous 12 pagoda masters combined. Obviously, this was an existence that surpassed the sage and reached the peak of the great sage. He was the Abyss Master of the Abyss of Souls. At this moment, he suddenly opened his eyes and roared. "Damn it, Lin Wudi, you dare to kill my granddaughter. I will tear you into pieces. I will make you suffer a fate worse than death." His soul rushed out. He was really angry. His granddaughter, who had become a princess, was a young person that he was very optimistic about. In the future, her achievements would not be weaker than his. She might even surpass him and reach an incredible level. He placed all his hopes on his granddaughter. His granddaughter did not disappoint him. Now, she was a young powerhouse. She even dared to challenge the sovereign. Such ambition made the Abyss Master very satisfied. But now, his granddaughter was dead. He could not accept it. All of his hopes and dreams had been shattered. All of this was because of Lin Wudi. No matter what the other party's identity or origin was, he would not spare him. An extremely terrifying light burst out from his eyes and swept in all directions. It enveloped the entire abyss of souls. At the same time, the surrounding array was activated and sealed the space. He would not let the other party escape. In the open space in front of the square, those Mingdao masters were also shocked when they saw this scene. It seemed that the Abyss Master had made a move. Great. He would definitely sweep everything away. Let's see how these people will die. Lin Xian and the others descended into the princess's residence. Lin Xian opened the heaven-opening divine eyes to investigate. Soon, he found that there was a dungeon. With a wave of his hand, he split the dungeon open. Lin Xian walked in. Inside the dungeon, on the stone pillars, there were many souls chained. At this moment, they were roaring in horror. One of the innermost stone pillars, this illusory soul, was Yunnan. His soul was covered with runes. These were runes condensed by the peak of the great sage. Even if he was a young powerhouse, it was difficult to break. She was desperate. Was she going to die? Although she had become Lin Xian's slave, she did not feel ashamed. On the contrary, she had infinite hope. Lin Xian was a young supreme, someone who would become a great emperor in the future. It was a supreme honor for her to follow the great emperor, but now she was afraid that she would fall in advance. Boom! Suddenly, she raised her head and found that the space in front of her had shattered. Sunlight shone in, brightening the surroundings. At the same time, another figure walked in. Chapter 5265. Was it that bastard princess? It seemed that the other party was going to make a move on her. Yun Yu's eyes were filled with despair, and the other suppressed souls were also roaring in horror. But soon, they were stunned because they found that it was not the princess of the underworld. Especially Hunyu, her eyes were red. It was young master. She didn't expect it to be Lin Xian. Was he here to save her? At this moment, she was really too excited. Lin Xian came in front of her like a god, and with a wave of his hand, the chains on Yun Yu's body shattered. Don't worry, you're safe from now on, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Yun Yu was so excited. She directly threw herself into Lin Xian's arms, but when she saw Murong Qingqing and Yin Ruyu coming from behind, she came back to her senses. She immediately stood up straight and lowered her head shyly. Thank you for saving my life, young master. You rest first. I'll deal with that old thing. Lin Xian's eyes erupted with an extremely terrifying light, and he raised his head and looked into the distance. He sensed an extremely terrifying power and rushed over here. Oh no, young master, be careful. That's the existence of the peak of the supreme sage. Yun Yu was extremely worried. Lin Xian smiled and said, Don't worry, I have a way. The suppressed souls around were surprised. This young man wanted to challenge the peak of the supreme sage? What kind of joke was this? Did he know the terror of the abyss of souls and the abyss master? Lin Xian ignored these people at all. He rose into the air and flew outside. At the same time, he shouted coldly, Old thing, get out. This voice resounded through the 9 heavens, so that everyone in the abyss of souls heard it. God, did I hear wrongly? Someone is challenging the abyss master. Who was it that was so reckless? Is it the young man from before? Shocked voices could be heard one after another. At the same time, in the depths of the abyss of souls, an old voice also came. Stupid thing, you haven't left yet. Well, I'll catch you and tear you into pieces so that you can never rise again. Boom. A palm came crashing down from the sky, carrying with it an extremely terrifying soul aura. Everyone in the abyss of souls prostrated themselves on the ground. Heavens, it really is the Abyss Master. Someone exclaimed. Abyss Lord made a move. That brat was dead for sure. Everyone was shocked. Lin Xian used Shadowless Heaven's net and quickly dodged. At the same time, with the help of the demon god wings, he instantly dodged to the place where he had been. It was completely shattered. The golden radiance in his eyes dimmed. It had to be said that the pinnacle of the great sage realm was absolutely terrifying. The Abyss Lord walked out and sneered. You are no match for me. You, a puny little great sage initial stage, dare to contend with me? Fine, I'll let you know the difference between us. So what if the other party was Lin Wudi? No matter how strong he was just a young man. Today, he would make the other party despair. An extremely terrifying aura bloomed from the Abyss Lord. In the dungeon, the souls that had been suppressed were also shocked. It was over. That young man was dead meat. That's right. He really didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Yunyu snorted coldly. What do you know? Young Master was the strongest. He was an invincible existence. Invincible? The surrounding souls shook their heads. This should only be relative to the young man. Looking at the entire universe, who dared to claim to be invincible? Young man, go to hell. The Abyss Lord in the sky made a move again. The souls retracted, covering the sky and the earth. At the same time, the other hand also grabbed out. This time, he would not give the other party a chance. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He stood there without moving. Those soul powerhouses kneeling on the ground side when they saw this scene. This young man had been scared silly. It seemed that after this blow, he would definitely die. However, at this time, a vortex appeared beside Lin Xian. Then a crack appeared. In the next moment, the phantom of a sword appeared and shrouded the surroundings from all directions. What was this? Sacred domain? The soul powerhouse was surprised, then shook his head. Did he think his sacred domain could compete with a great sage peak? He was too naive. Boom. The Abyss Lord also sneered. He was really stupid. Even if he took out a stronger weapon, he was no match for him. He sneered and sped up. The power on his palm was even more terrifying. The other party's sacred domain was definitely torn apart. However, when these two attacks hit it, it made a shocking sound. However, it did not shatter the sacred domain. Instead, it was engulfed by the phantom of that world. What was this? The Abyss Lord was stunned. The others were also dumbfounded. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Lin Xian made another move. The sword world enveloped the Abyss Lord. When the Abyss Lord was enveloped by this phantom, his body immediately sank. His pupils constricted. What a terrifying pressure. The other party's winning rate actually had such pressure. It was too unbelievable. He knew that the pressure in the immortal land was much more terrifying than the outside world. After the experts from the outside came in, they were all weaker than the experts here. This was also the reason why he was so confident. Because they had been in the immortal land all year round, they had long adapted to this pressure. The same powerhouse was no match for him at all. But now, the phantom of this world brought about even more terrifying pressure than the immortal land. He was too surprised. Did the other party have any magic treasure in his hand? In the next moment, Lin Xian arrived in front of the other party and sneered. Welcome to my world. This is the place where you will fall. Your world? A mere phantom dared to be called a world? Also, do you think that you can defeat me with this little pressure? You are too naive. Even if my strength is suppressed, it is still not something you can contend against. An extremely terrifying light erupted from his eyes, turning into two blade lights that slashed over. The other party's soul could not withstand it at all. Lin Xian's eyes shone brightly, and then formed a reincarnation mountain to block. With a clang, it was forced back, but it blocked the attack. Lin Xian laughed. You are only SOSO. He actually blocked it. The Abyss Lord's face was gloomy and cold. It seemed that the suppression here was much more terrifying than he had imagined. At the same time, he was surprised. The other party's golden eyes were really too strange. What was that? Why did he feel a trace of the power of reincarnation? It seems that you should have a strange eye technique, and a very precious one at that. Fine, I'll kill you. Taking your eyes can allow me to go further on the path of the underworld. Maybe I can use this to break through and become a quasi-emperor. The Abyss Lord was really overjoyed. This kind of precious eye was definitely a heaven-defying bloodline, so he must get it. In the next moment, the light in his eyes became even more terrifying. The boundless sea of souls rushed over in an overwhelming manner. It surrounded the reincarnation mountain. This was a confrontation of souls, which was very dangerous. If one was not careful, the soul would be shattered. The reincarnation mountain shook violently. Lin Xian snorted coldly. In the next moment, he held the hell sword in his hand and slashed out. Chapter 5266. Ridiculous. You want to cut my soul with your sword? Stupid. The Abyss Lord sneered. However, in the next moment, his expression changed. Because he found that the other party's sword could really cut through his soul attack. He screamed miserably and retreated. Damn it, what's going on? This is impossible. There's something wrong with his sword technique. The Abyss Lord was really shocked. What kind of sword technique was this? He had never heard of it. Damn it, I didn't expect this kid to not only have a pair of magical eyes, but also such a strange sword technique. The other party really had too many secrets. Very good, an unexpected joy. Everything you have is mine. He roared angrily and charged out again. A large black flag appeared in his hand, with countless souls revolving around it. This was the soul's sacred artifact that he had refined, and it was abnormally terrifying. Hand over your soul to me. The black flag covered the sky and covered the earth as it charged over. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The hell sword slashed out, and the two fought. It's useless. My weapon is a legendary holy weapon. What can you use to fight me? The Abyss Lord laughed out loud. Although as he fought with Lin Xian and flew inside, he felt more and more pressure. But he believed that in 3 more moves, he would be able to completely suppress the other party. At that time, when he collected the other party's soul, the other party's secret would be his. Legendary holy weapon? So what? I'll let you see my weapon. Lin Xian took out the heaven-swallowing jar and slammed it forward. With a boom, the black flag was sent flying. The Abyss Lord spat out a large mouthful of blood, and his expression became terrified. What is this? The black vortex was enough to swallow everything. This aura? The aura of the extreme Dao. Could it be an extreme Dao weapon? That's right, this is an extreme Dao weapon. If you compete with me in terms of weapons, I can only say that you are courting death. Who exactly are you? Yes, not only is Feng powerful, he can also take out an extreme Dao weapon. Are you the Emperor? Lin Xian sneered. You don't have the qualifications to know. Now, I'll use you to verify my strength. Lin Xian's eyes erupted with an extremely terrifying light. The heaven-swallowing jar restrained the other party's legendary holy weapon, and at the same time, the surrounding sword world's power also pressed down. As a result, both of them had to carry 100,000 mountains on their backs. Lin Xian often felt this pressure, so he had no problem with it. However, the Abyss Lord's blood was boiling, and his face turned pale. Not good. This pressure is really too terrifying. There was something wrong with this world. This was definitely not the other party's Saint Domain. He had arrived at a mystical space. What exactly was this? Kill. Here, Lin Xian charged out. He could feel that his opponent's strength had been greatly suppressed. Of course, he was still stronger than regular saints, but Lin Xian was confident that he could contend against him. The 6 paths fist pressed forward with indomitable will. The phantoms of 6 worlds instantly enveloped the other party. He continued to crush them. Abyss Lord's blood and chi surged, the clothes on his body in tatters. He roared angrily. You are courting death. With a wave of its sharp claws, it shattered the illusions of the 6 worlds. He struck out with his palm. Young man, let me tell you, what is absolute power? So what if he was suppressed? So what if he didn't have a legendary saint weapon? The Abyss Master was strong enough to break everything. Even though he was a master of the Chaos Path, his physique and laws were still extremely powerful. This was the terror of a peak great sage. Couldn't he beat a young man? Vengeful soul curse. The Abyss Lord formed a seal with his palms, and suddenly endless vengeful spirits flew out of his sleeves. They roared at the sky, and a terrifying sound rushed over. This was a peerless great magical power, enough to shatter a person's soul, falling into hell and never coming out. What can a mere vengeful spirit do to me? 9 Suns Divine Fist. Lin Xian activated the 9 Suns Divine Body, and the flames of the purest yang flew out. It turned into 6 suns, sweeping away those vengeful spirits between heaven and earth. Encountering this purest yang power, they were instantly turned into ashes. Being burned by this raging fire, the Abyss Lord also kept retreating. Cracks appeared on his sleeves again. Damn it, what a terrifying flame. It could restrain him. Soul Sea, he roared, and his Soul Sea appeared behind him, sweeping toward Yifutyin from all directions. These souls were not only vengeful spirits, but also all kinds of powerful creatures. These were the souls of the powerhouses he had collected for thousands of years. Let's see how you fight this time. The souls in the Soul Sea were not afraid of the purest yang flame at all. They quickly rushed over. Lin Xian formed a seal with his palms. The Tai Chi diagram appeared all over his body, and the power of yin and yang emerged. The Tai Chi diagram rotated, forming a killing blow, covering the entire Soul Sea. The yin and yang aura inside collided violently with the Soul Sea. The mixed sea was finally completely suppressed. Damn it! The Abyss Lord vomited blood again. What's going on? No matter what kind of technique he used, the other party could suppress it. Damn it! I don't believe it. Damn it! An extremely terrifying light burst out from his eyes, and at the same time, his soul left his body, forming a small person, roaring at the sky. The small person, holding the black cauldron, quickly rushed over. Lin Xian snorted coldly, covering his body with demonic energy. He used the illusion demon scripture. The powerful great emperor's divine ability resisted it. Next, the Abyss Lord used 100 kinds of soul attacks, but they were all blocked by the great emperor's divine ability. This made him almost collapse. Lin Xian snorted coldly, "Do you still have any tricks? If not, then I'll send you on your way." The Tai Chi diagram suddenly erupted, turning into Yin God and Yang God, charging forward. The Abyss Lord kept retreating. Lin Xian flew up and fought with him in close combat. The Demon Emperor's divine ability was used to the extreme, forcing the Abyss Lord's body to retreat. At the same time, he slashed out with his sword, splitting the Abyss Lord into 2 halves. The Abyss Lord completely collapsed at this moment. He, a peak great sage, was seriously injured. Damn it! I don't believe it. He resisted, but his injuries were getting worse and worse. Damn it! Retreat. He must leave. This world was too strange. He had to leave this space. After going out, it would not be suppressed. In that way, his strength would be 10 times, 100 times stronger than before. At that time, it would be easy for him to kill the other party. But how could Lin Xian let the other party leave? The Tai Chi diagram kept chasing, and the 9 Yang divine fire was overwhelming. Damn it! You're courting death. The Abyss Lord roared. The small black cauldron in his soul's hand kept spinning, flickering with light. Then it fell down. There was blood inside. The blood of a saint, and it was extremely terrifying. This was condensed from the blood of 9 peak great sages when they died. After 1,000 years of cultivation, it has long been terrifying to the extreme. This is my killing method. I didn't expect to use it in the hands of a young man like you today. Well, you're dead. The secrets on your body are enough to make up for my loss. The blood of 9 peak great sages blotted out heaven and earth as it shot toward Yang Qi. It turned into a river of blood, instantly came in front of Lin Xian, circling around Lin Xian. Destroy. The Abyss Lord snorted coldly, his expression ferocious. The next moment, he could get the treasure. Chapter 52-67. Feeling the power of the Sea of Blood, Lin Xian did not dare to be careless. There was an extremely terrifying murderous aura on it. But fortunately, in the sword world, this power was also suppressed. Moreover, Lin Xian was not without a trump card. He snorted coldly. Lin Xian used the demon summoning scripture with all his strength. Endless devil chi condensed behind him, and a devil shadow appeared. As soon as the devil shadow appeared, he looked down on the world like a demon god. The pupils of the Abyss Lord in the distance also shrank. This aura was? He was really frightened. It seemed to be an existence that he could not understand. As soon as the devil shadow appeared, he raised his right hand and slapped the devil god seal. The sea of blood formed by the 9 great sages in front of him was instantly shattered at this moment. Puff! The soul of the Abyss Lord spat out blood, and cracks appeared on it. His eyes were bleeding. He couldn't believe it. Was it broken? This was his super powerful trump card, and he was reluctant to use it. Originally, he thought that he could end this battle, but who would have thought that it would be easily broken by the other party? For a moment, he was stunned. Lin Xian looked at the other party and said indifferently, "Do you still have a trump card? If not, I will send you on your way." "Don't be arrogant," the Abyss Lord sneered. "I admit that your trump card is very strong. In the younger generation, it is rare. But so what? I have not lost yet. The devil shadow behind you should be a peerless divine ability. Can you use it a second time?" The Abyss Lord sneered. He could see that the devil shadow had disappeared. In his opinion, the other party only had this one life-saving method, and it would definitely not be able to block his next attack. His palms kept forming seals, and his soul returned to his body. At the same time, his eyes burst out with an astonishing light. Buzz! In the next moment, something magical happened. 5 souls appeared in 5 directions around him. The light and laws on each one were different. "Kid, you are very honored to be able to see my strongest skill. I will let you see the 5 souls ascension. This is what I got in a very mysterious cave in the immortal ground. It can allow a person's soul to condense and form 5 souls. Golden soul, water soul, fire soul, wood soul, earth soul. Once I successfully cultivate it, my soul power will be 5 times stronger than others of the same level. Among those at the peak of the great sage realm, there are not many who can compete with me in terms of soul power. Once it was cultivated to the highest level, the 5 souls would become one, and one would be able to form the origin magnetic immortal soul. At that time, my soul will surpass the sacred realm and might even become the soul of a martial monarch. Even though I haven't reached the final step yet, the ascension of 5 souls isn't something you can go against." As soon as he finished speaking, the 5 souls around him released a terrifying aura. The formless aura combined with the power of the soul was terrifying to the extreme. "You still have a trump card, right? 5 souls?" Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. "That's right. But so what?" Now that he was in Sword World, he would not let the other party leave. The wings of the demon god unfurled behind his back, tearing the void apart as he arrived before Zhang Xian in an instant. Then, he slashed out with his sword, which turned into a full moon and attacked the martial spirit. What a terrifying speed! What a terrifying sword technique! The Abyss Lord's pupil shrank, and he quickly retreated. The 5 souls were knocked back. Light flickered on them, but they did not disappear. Lin Xian was also surprised. These 5 souls were really powerful. To be able to withstand the Azura sword technique, one must know that it was a martial monarch's ability, a killing technique, but the other party was not penetrated. "You want to destroy my 5 souls? Dream on. The next moment will be your moment of despair." With a wave of the Abyss Lord's hand, the 5 souls flew out and scattered to the heavens and the earth. In 5 directions, they enveloped Lin Xian. The 5 souls formed a seal with their palms. Fire soul, a flaming divine sword appeared in his hand and slashed down. Water soul, on the other hand, shot out a pagoda. Golden soul, wood soul, and earth soul also made their moves. The 5 of them worked together endlessly, and the power was truly terrifying. Lin Xian used the reincarnation mountain peak to block. Boom! In an instant, the reincarnation mountain peak shattered. His pupils shrank, and his body swayed. Using his movement technique to the extreme, he dodged these attacks as if he had teleported. "Useless brat, you can dodge once, but can you dodge 10 times? You will die without a doubt." Seeing the other party in such a sorry state, the Abyss Lord laughed out loud. This time, the other party could no longer live. Boom! The 5 souls launched another attack. This time, it was even more terrifying. Finally, it enveloped Lin Xian. With a loud bang, that place was completely covered by the laws. "Die! Your soul definitely can't live." He was really too happy. Roar. Suddenly, a terrifying dragon roar sounded, shaking heaven and earth. Then, a sword light swept across the sky, as if a giant dragon was flying above the 9 heavens. The giant dragon fell, and the sword chi spread out. All the soul laws launched by the 5 souls were instantly torn apart. Damn it, what's going on? What happened? The Abyss Lord was stunned. Does that kid still have a trump card? This is too terrifying. Your means are strong, but it's a pity that you met me. Lin Xian held the great dragon sword soul in his hand and walked over like a killing god. With a slash of the sword, the 5 souls were destroyed. The Abyss Lord vomited a large mouthful of blood. His body was torn apart, and his soul was also shattered. No, how could it be? The 5 souls were originally one with him. When the 5 souls were destroyed, he was seriously injured. At the same time, he was desperate. That was his strongest trump card. He got it in the Celestial Land. It was definitely left behind by the unparalleled powerhouse of the Yuhua Celestial Dynasty. However, it was easily destroyed by the other party. What kind of sword is this? Is the other party already so strong? No, don't kill me. I'll give you whatever you want. Just let me go. Abyss. At this moment, he was finally afraid. He didn't want the demeanor of a powerhouse anymore. He just wanted to live. It wasn't easy to cultivate to his level. Lin Xian's expression was cold. He raised the great dragon sword soul and slashed out, splitting the other party's body in half. The Abyss Lord was already seriously injured. How could he resist at this moment? With one slash, he fell. Lin Xian's face was pale. He waved his hand and used the power of the sword world to suppress the other party's body. At the same time, he sat down cross-legged and began to use the power of the 4 Spirit Valley to recover. In the distance, the Hellfire Dragon flew over and said, "Boy, your strength improved very quickly. You can even kill a peak great sage now." Lin Xian opened his eyes and shook his head. He couldn't be considered a true peak great sage. He was at least half suppressed in this world. He was only a little stronger than a great sage. If I wanted to kill him outside, I'm afraid I would have to fully recover my extreme weapon. After that, he closed his eyes again and began to recover. The Hellfire Dragon next to him also nodded. He was not arrogant after winning. He was indeed a promising person, and he believed that it wouldn't be long before Lin Xian could kill a peak great sage with his own strength outside. I'm looking forward to the scene of you reaching the peak of the universe. The Hellfire Dragon smiled. Lin Xian recovered his soul and power. Then he walked forward and began to absorb the other party's soul. At the same time, he took the other party's storage ring. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.